Hello, everybody in the YouTube community. Welcome to RFK Tech. We are doing a double show for you guys this week. At some viewers' request, we wanted to do some massive MIMO tonight. So we're going to bring you some massive MIMO training. Uh-oh, I forgot to turn my scanner off.
Get your tinfoil hats on.
That's right. So here we go. 5 minutes into live, I give you guys some eye candy. What'd you guys think of the eye candy there? The drone footage of these towers and stuff. And more to come. I'm going to start going around and just getting you lots and lots of content. Flying the drone is so much fun. It's a blast. And that one monopole I just showed you is the N77 upgrade in progress. So that's right. They're ripping every panel off that thing and replacing them all. And they're adding N77 to it. So it's very exciting. So let's see who's in here. Oh yeah, it says almost time. So how you doing tonight, Zero Cool?
Oh man, it's you know what? It is almost Friday. It is almost Friday. You know what happens on Friday, man.
Oh yeah, boats and hoes.
Scallops and boats and hoes, man. I already got it, man.
Yeah, we got you figured out already, man. Well, look, Chain Fries in the house tonight, and Baby Yoda, of course. Look at there. What up, Ricky and crew? Yeah, I don't know if anybody else is coming, but that's okay. We're going to kill the show anyways. Yes, show some love. Make sure you hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new here. Plus, don't forget to share the content. And if you want a chance to get this phone, that's right. Keep showing his phone. Yeah, I'm even going to give you guys this free case too. This it's a silver case. Even has a kickstand on it. Yeah, it's a pretty nice case. So yeah, I'll send the whole case to you too. So I don't care. Get rid of it all. S22 is going to have its own case. So. Yeah, so if you want a chance to win that thing, we got to get to 1,000 subscribers by February 9th. That way I can give this phone away. I can order my new one. And then when I get my new one all set up, I'll be shipping this thing out to whoever wins. You got to be active on all three channels. My channel, Carlos's channel, and SMT's channel, the SMT Nation. Support all three of us. Be active on our live streams. Just commenting on videos. The random picker will pick the most active person. So the more you're active, the more chance you have to get this S21 Ultra limited edition. They're not making them anymore, so it's actually becoming a collector's item, actually. So it's an amazing phone, and it can be yours. All you have to do is participate. No other funds or entries or nothing else. You don't have to buy nothing. All you got to do is just join us in the SMT family here, and you got a chance to get it. And thank you, Baby Yoda, for all your help here as a moderator. And to all the moderators, thank you all so much for your help and keeping the trolls under control. We know they're just as bad and annoying as a pimple on your behind.
Is that phone skunk ape free?
Yeah, it's skunk ape free too. Yeah. And it's an unlocked version, so you can use it on whatever carrier you want. If you want to use it on Skunky, yeah, you can, but I don't know why you'd want to. Why would you waste a big powerhouse phone like that on Skunky? That's just crazy. That phone is going to be perfect for Verizon because it's set up. Of course, I haven't tested N77 yet, or even millimeter wave yet, because I don't live where there is any. But soon I'll be doing the N77, so I can't wait to test it out. It's going to be pretty awesome. Or you can use it on AT&T as well. So it's unlocked, it's ready to go. All you got is, and it's dual SIM. It's got Android 12, all the updates done. So it's got eSIM. I'm using the eSIM on Skunky right now, and then I got my hard SIM in there on Verizon, and it's working pretty good. So very good. Blaze is here. Welcome, Blaze, and the Big Term Tech is here. Yeah, I'm all just like really excited tonight, ain't I? Yeah, I got 2 days off in a row. That's why I'm really excited. Of course, most people would be watching TV, playing video games on their day off. Look what I'm doing. I'm live streaming. But you know what? This is fun. This is just as fun as playing the video game. This is just as fun as just watching TV and Netflix and stuff. Levendi says, Ricky, I'm at work, third shift, need entertainment. Can you promise me that this stream will be at least 4 hours long. What do you think, Caleb?
No, I mean,
you got some stamina tonight?
I gotta do some work tonight, so it's not gonna be.
Okay.
I'll be on for like a couple hours, right? But I gotta.
Yeah, we'll definitely make this a couple hour show. But after last night, that was a long one there, man. We just kept going and going and going. So I don't know. We'll see how long we can go. Yeah, I'm all good. So Aaron's here. EM Tech is here. Just got off work. Perfect timing. All right. PA Tech is here. And the small town 10 minutes north officially has C-band Verizon. Peak 680. Down 55 up. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, it's finally amazing. We need 48 more subscribers by Samsung Day. I think we can make you. 48 more? Why, I'm at 750, so that'd be 800. So, yeah, I need like 250 more. So, it's possible. But you got to share. Spread it around to everybody. So, the more people that participates, the better chance we are to do it. And if we don't get 1,000 subscribers, then I'm just going to trade my phone in to Samsung. And then when I do hit 1,000, I'm just going to give somebody $600. So we're still going to do the giveaway. It just, if we do it by February 9th, we'll give the phone away. If it's after February 9th, we'll just give $600 away. Right? I'm a broke bitch. Why not? T-Mobile is on Sprint. Keep LTE where Verizon gets 600 megs. Okay. Talk about massive scallops tonight.
Massive.
I don't know. Do you think we could talk about massive scallops tonight? Maybe.
Oh yeah. Yes,
EM Tech says doing some N41 versus N77 testing right now. Well, that's like testing scallops with Roman noodles, actually, right?
Yeah. Well.
The N41 would be Roman noodles, and then
right.
And then N77 would be the scallops. Yeah. I'm not too impressed with the N41. I'm just not. Well, you guys know I'm impressed with anything T-Mobile does, but oh well. Only 48 more subscribers. Okay, well, need 248. Massive scallops time. Okay. Santiago's here. Friday is scallops day. Yep, tomorrow's Friday. Multi-user massive MIMO baby. Yeah. And the person that was on last night that actually requested me to talk.
Tarpon Springs. Oh shit.
I hope he's here tonight, because I told him last night. I said, yeah, we'll do a double episode just for you, man. So Jason says, Zero, get your ass down to Tarpon Springs, Florida, and get this T-Mobile tower fixed. Speeds suck. Wow. It'll be, there's a challenge for you there, buddy.
It'll be fixed.
And then we got the king of YouTube tech right here, SMT. T-Mobile, the ultimate man. The rest are just putting, tricking, and selling wolf tickets. That's right. There's SMT. He's the start of this massive SMT nation that's going on right now. We want to thank him for everything he's done. He works his ass off. He's a full-time teacher, and he does his YouTube channel, and he pumps some videos out. He's pumping that stuff out like crazy. He's pumping videos out faster than Verizon can pump out N77. There's Kazi. Kazi's here. Big Sneed. Big Ricky. Yeah. T-Mobile's the best. Crystal clear calls and coverage on the mountains and in the middle of the ocean and on Mars and on the moon. 5G everywhere. Blah, 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 blah. Exactly. Wait, will massive MIMO be 64 by 64 or 128 by 20 and 28? Well, it's going to be 64 by 64 in the beginning, but some of the antenna modules will have 128 antenna, or 192 actually antennas modules.
It's 64 transmit, 64 receive right now.
Yep.
In the future, it'll be 120, 128.
But for the Ericsson equipment, it depends on which one they're launching, it actually has 128 antenna modules.
Yep.
So it's got double the receive capability, but still has the same amount of trans. But see, that's the whole idea. That's what gets you the extra coverage and out to the cell edge. And we're going to talk about it here in just a minute. So it's going to be pretty cool. Let's see. Getting caught up here in the chat. We got 248 more. Yeah, there we go. 248. And we got till the 9th. So that's what? 12 days away? I think something like that. Yeah, something like 12 days away. So if you do the math, that's probably what? At least 15 subscribers a day? Something like that. Right, I mean, I just gained 30 yesterday. So yeah, we can do it. But you all got to share it to your friends and family. Even if they don't give a crap about tech, at least tell them, yeah, just subscribe to them. You don't have to turn their alert message on and get bombarded by all these nice live streams. You don't have to do that. So that's the whole nice thing. You can subscribe to support them, but you don't have to watch them. But it'd be nice to get to watching too. But of course, if you want to win the phone, you got to be active as well. So, all right. That's right, Santiago. Okay, we got Sneed saying hi to everybody. Apparently, my podcast last night was the worst live stream ever. I don't know who's saying that crap. That's the biggest lie. Crazy. Not much, dog. Just chilling with the SMT Nation. Yeah. And then we got Vivian here. Good morning, Vivian. Well, it's good morning to me. You know, I've just been up for just a little bit. Slept all day. So I got some good sleep today. So I'm just enjoying my 2 days off here. So it's really, really awesome. And then we see we got everybody saying hi. So we got Sneed. What up, man? Welcome, visually impaired tech. Baby Yoda. Josh is here. Hello there, Josh. And Tim is here. I'd love to see Verizon get above 15 megabits in my market. Well, yeah. I'm sure everybody does. But it takes time to roll it out. We've been waiting 5 years for T-Mobile to get us LTE Plus. So, I mean, we can wait, what, 6-8 months to get LTE Plus with Verizon? Yeah, buddy. Anyone notice Eugene has been really quiet lately?
Oh, no. I noticed.
Oh, Caleb noticed.
We haven't seen shit.
Oh, that's crazy. Vivian says Verizon will definitely be the biggest massive MIMO deployer this year simply because they have to be 64 by 64. Massive MIMO makes N77 range leapfrog, and that PCS and AWS finally making 5G UW persuasive. There you go. And I also got the poll up too. So everybody vote. Which carrier do you think will deploy the most multiple user massive MIMO for 5G in 2022? So the poll is up. There's 40 votes, 36 in the live. Go ahead, Caleb.
Yeah, I want to say something regarding that because, like, she's right. Because the C-band and the CBRS, what the goal is to that is to combine those two into one multi-band radio, and then you can put, once that's done, you can do the actual massive MIMO on that radio, right? So. That's going to be so good. But it's just the only downside. It's like the bad thing about MIMO tech. It takes forever to engineer and do to get those radios out.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of optimizing too.
That's what sucks about it.
Yeah, it's definitely time consuming for the engineers, for sure. And then it'd be nice also too when T-Mobile gets off of this split mode they got going on too. So. I mean, they're just really ruining massive MIMO with this split moding because they're doing 32 on LTE and 32 on NR, and that just completely just castrates UC right there in the balls.
Oh yeah,
hey, Jared, how you doing?
Put the fucking comment.
Oh, here we go. Oh, hello there, Robert. How you doing? Yeah, for those winners of the gift cards, did you guys all spend your money on your gift cards? Baby Yoda, Robert, I didn't see Ron in here yet, and Vlad, I haven't seen him. Yeah, I just wondered, did you guys spend your gift card yet? Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, Sneed Carlos, so we can have the S21 Ultra special giveaway at 1K! That's right. Let's see. Not good with the naming. Okay. Hello there, Madar. How you say that? Medardo? Okay.
Medardo, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. They were caught up here in the chat. So, awesome. Okay, so let's take a look at the first thing here. All right, so let's get the screen going here. I need a third monitor. I can't wait to get a third monitor because then I can put my chat on one side, share the screen on the other, have the stream on the other. I need 3 screens. So Carlos is going to help me build a supercomputer, a brand new gaming desktop. Because right now I'm just using a laptop. I'm using my GT70 from 2013. So it's a gaming laptop. I mean, it's still doing good and everything, but I just want a better graphics card. This has got a 780 graphics card, so I'm gonna go modern. He's gonna hook me up with the Verizon, however you say it.
Yeah. Yeah,
help me out with that.
You don't need a desktop to do all your streaming, to be honest.
Yeah, so RFK Tech here is growing, so I need more storage space. I'm running out of with all this drone video. That's a lot of gigabytes going on. I'm running out of space. So,
bro, I'll sell you if you want, man. I'll sell you my mic if you want it.
Oh, I already got a mic. So
I'll sell you. I'll get it if you want.
I got my beautiful 24-bit sound mic right here.
Or if you want my interface, bro.
It's like Ricky's going crazy. Too. He's making love to his microphone. Ooh, shit. Be crazy. But yeah, we're going to build a supercomputer. And let's see. So we got a couple of things we're going to talk about before we get into Massive Mimo. All right, so here's a news article that came out today. The cheap Chinese junk TLC or TCL 30 V 5G is the cheapest way to get on Verizon's new N77 5G network right now. It launches today for $299 as a carrier exclusive. So here you go. So
that's a hard pass.
Yeah, it's a hard pass for me, definitely. You know, after being in my Cadillac here, I can't jump into a Wego. Just can't do it. But if you want to get on there with some speed and stuff, and you don't use your phone that much, 4 gigs of RAM is going to be okay for you. 4,500 milliamp battery. Just a regular 1080p screen, 667 inch. This phone will do it if you're on a budget. And also the Motorola One 5G Ace UW is also priced at $299. But these are low-end phones, so they're very budget-friendly phones. So if you want to get on 5G, just so you can have better speed and stuff, and you don't need that much storage, and you don't need to have the fastest phone on the earth, this will get you by. So, and then Verizon also has some other goodies here. They're saying that every one of their 5G smartphones are all capable of N77. So we got the Pixel 6 Pro, the Pixel 6, 13 iPhone, the 21 FE that just come out. You got the 13 Mini, the 13 Pro, 13 Max. Here's the Motorola One 5G UW Ace. Boy, these names just keep crazy. They just keep making them so long. Then here's the Motorola Edge 5G UW, the Fold 3, iPhone 12, Z Flip, 12 Pro Max. Here's the big dog here, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G, 12 Pro, A42 5G, S21, S21 Plus, iPhone 12 Mini, even the Note 20. You can still buy, if you want to get a Note 20 right now, you can get that sucker right now, and it'll work on N77. So that's pretty crazy. Of course, the modem is, I think it's only an X55 modem, or I can't remember which one is it, or it's the X50. But at least it will do some faster speeds for you. We got the Motorola Edge Plus, the Orbic Myra Planet Zorb 5G UW, Motorola One 5G UW, the TCL 30V 5G These Nuts phone. So there, you got lots of phones you can pick from if you want to get on the N77 bandwagon. But of course, if you don't have Verizon, you can't do it. But these are all available on prepaid. Of course, you know, you have to pay full price. So you can get on the N77 hippity-hoppity bandwagon if you want to. Okay, let's see. All right, so here's another blog that Ericsson's putting out a lot of good teaching and information content, and that's what we're going to use tonight to talk about the Massive MIMO. So this article here is very interesting right here. Who cares about peak download speeds in 5G? Okay, so everybody's saying, well, wait a minute. Everybody cares about the speeds. But if you listen close to all of us on the YouTube community on these tech channels, we have been telling everybody it's quality, and ping is more important than
average.
speed.
Yeah, it's about
That's
the average.
right.
Average download.
So here we go. Think about the apps that you use on your smartphone all the time. Do you have an idea about what download speed is required for you to have a good experience when using them? Is it 1 megabyte? Is it 10? Is it 100? Or even more? Is download speed expressed in bits per second a good measure of user experience in the first place? I don't think so. And I totally agree with this article here. Yep, give credit to Rainer Ludwig for this beautiful vlog, or this blog he did here. Okay, so 47 megabits per second. So what? You know, so many people say, oh, Verizon is only doing 47 megabits per second. So what? I want 800. But see, everybody's got their idea wrong. It's not about the speed. So, back in the 4G days, he says, I remember very well that day when I got my first 4G smartphone. He said he was at home, he unwrapped the box, and one of the first things he did was a 4G speed test. And it was 47 megabits per second. Wow. He was excited because, like so many colleagues at Ericsson and across the whole country, he felt like the part of the making the 4G showed off the 47 megabits per second to the teenage kids who had been smartphone power users for years already. But his son always said, so what? Realized that my kids could not relate to data speeds expressed in bits per second. So was 47 good, bad, or just enough? Since then, he's sure that most smartphone users cannot even relate to data speeds expressed. It's all about service providers should care about their subscribers' 5G user experience. And that's what it is. Subscriber acquisition cost and churn rate are key factors that determine the success of any communication service provider. Numerous studies have shown how churn is directly connected to user experience. Zero Cool, do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, I do, because I mean, the way I look at it is this: you take your favorite thing that you like to do on your mobile phone, and you got to ask yourself a couple questions.
Yep.
Is this fast enough for me? Do I need to have a better user experience? Can I get my work done? Am I able to effectively communicate with loved ones or with friends? Or
can you do a Zoom call at work?
Yeah. How can I improve my life within 5G? And can I do I have time to order groceries to go, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that. So it's not about doing speed tests constantly or what have you. It's about the phone that I have. Can it improve my life?
That's right. Get everything done. This has been known since the early days of mobile telephones. We have all experienced the frustration of a dropped voice call. Arrgh! T-Mobile dropped my call. Arrgh! AT&T dropped my call. Verizon dropped my call. Arrgh! Nobody gets more madder. Or when you're trying to do a Zoom call and it's buffering and you just missed half the darn conference you just listened to. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, people get frustrated. They don't like that. And then occurs an inconvenient point in the conversation where you're required to redial or call the person back or re-enter personal identification number code to rejoin a conference call because you can't because you're driving. So you got to pull over and do it. So that frustration can quickly become infuriating. No wonder that leading communication service providers target call drop rates as well under 0.5%. For voice calls, measuring user experience is straightforward, using well-defined metrics such as dropped and blocked call rates and voice quality scores. But when it comes to the internet connectivity for smartphones, mobile broadband, the mobile industry still struggles to even agree what the experience means, let alone how to measure it.
Right, yeah. So the thing that we see about the dropped and blocked call rates, I have to measure that as far as what's called a API. So that's a key performance indicator, right? So that has a huge effect on emergency services, when you're trying to call on the highway, if there's been like an accident or something. This is this, and I want to say that once, all networks are densified, that's all going to be a thing in the past once voice over NR is, and we have enough mid-band spectrum. That's once voice over NR is fully
Oh yeah.
done and baked and everything. The days of trying to call out and get a signal on a highway or out in the middle of nowhere and trying to connect is going to be over.
That's right. Smartphone user experience is all about time to content. Time to content is what matters for smartphone users. After I click, how much longer do I have to wait before my video starts playing? Or I can start scrolling on my news page, like drop voice calls. I really don't like that spinning wheel. Looky there.
These are for
nobody likes the spinning wheel.
Those are for the impatient people, and I just
that is the mascot for T-Mobile right there. Mascot. That damn spinning wheel. Time to content is the key metric that content provider industry has been using for decades to assess the user experience. Entire industry branches such as content distribution networks have emerged to minimize time to content and thereby maximize user experience. A consistently low time to content is crucial for any online business since it can impact a conversion rates, the probability that a customer stays on the online site and eventually clicks buy. So people will get impatient. If they can't do something, they'll say, oh, let me try another site. So yeah, time to click is very, very, very important. 20 megabits per second at every click is what I need to have a great 5G user experience. So at Ericsson, we have conducted an in-depth study of smartphones requesting popular content. YouTube, Instagram, Amazon, eBay, Uber, IKEA, and many more to derive the relationship between time to content and what we refer to as throughput at the click. The throughput at the click is the throughput that is available to the device during the time to content phase. The study was based on tools and guidelines provided by Google on WebDEV. The relationship we derived is shown in Figure 2. The graph incorporates projections for the coming 5 years about growth of the size of popular content and improvements in device processing power. So check this out. So on the left, we got time to content in seconds, starting from 1 all the way up to like 16 seconds. Okay, and then from the bottom graph, we got 0 output, megabits per second. All the way over to the left, you got 30 megabits per second. So as you see in this graph, seconds makes the difference between whether you got the mad face, T-Mobile customers, or the happy face, AT&T and Verizon customers. There you go. What do you think, Zero Cool, about this? Do you think this guy's right spot on with this? Uh-oh. Did we lose Zero Cool? Zero Cool. Oh, he's muted. Did you mute yourself on purpose? Oh, he must have got a phone call. Well, we'll come right back to him. Okay, so Figure 2, time to content depends largely on downlink throughput at click. We have made a number of key findings. A downlink throughput at click of 20 megabits per second and an uplink click at 1 megabits per second provides great smartphone user experience for the vast majority of popular content. Beyond these speeds, user experience improves only marginally. So what he's saying here is speed doesn't really make it go any faster once you get to a certain point. User experience degrades sharply as the download or downlink throughput at click drops below 5 megabits per second, or the uplink throughput at click drops below 300 kilobits per second. Streaming video is less demanding. Even at high definition 1080p, YouTube videos start playing in less than 2 seconds, given a downlink throughput at click of 10 megabits per second. Once the video has started playing, the downlink throughput may even drop to 5 megabits per second without impacting the video playout quality. No matter how high the throughput at the click, there is always the device processing delay which limits time to content. We project that in 2025, the device processing delay will be slightly less than 1 second for high-end smartphones. That's just incredible. So as you see, 1 second. What do we have here at 1 second? Here's 1 second. What do we have over here? Look at this. We have happy people. We have happy people. So it looks like the future looks great with 5G as they get more bandwidth, the pings drop, and the quality of the network gets much better. And of course, that's going to be through the massive MIMO that we're getting ready to talk about next. So users expect a great experience everywhere and every time. See, smartphone users are very demanding creatures. They like it everywhere and every time. So if you go to the gym, it doesn't work. You're not going to be happy. So it's everywhere and every time. It doesn't matter if it's rush hour and you're stuck in traffic and you want to check the weather, see if the snowstorm's going to, like, blizzard's going to come, make you stuck there. You got to know. So it's everywhere and every time. Users not only expect great experience, but they also expect everywhere and every time. Hence, 20 megabits per second in downlink and 1 in the uplink needs to be available to a user's smartphone at every click. Even in busy areas during busy times when the network may be highly loaded, this is not always the case as shown in the chart below. It shows measurements of time to content collected from a smartphone in a live 4G network. Now remember, this is 4G. So if you check this out, here's midnight. Look at this. Very, very quick. Look at this. Oh, I got some people getting up from work. A couple spikes there. 6 o'clock, everybody's eating breakfast, checking the news, doing a quick video conference, go to work. And then, oh, look at here. Everybody starts getting to work. Look at the spikes. Spike. Look at this. Up to 20 seconds to get things done. And look here, lunchtime. By lunchtime, holy cow, you're like between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock is the worst time for wireless networks. So it's very, very, very high demanding. And then after lunch, then it kind of drops down a little bit, and then you still got some spikes, and then you got about 6 o'clock. By that time, everybody's at home. They're on their Wi-Fi network, so they're not even on the mobile networks anymore. So, because most people have Wi-Fi. So as you see, the congestion stops around 6 o'clock. And then on, it just goes right back to that. So that just shows you right there how 5G is going to make a huge difference here, because you get better capacity, you get lower pings. This is going to be flat like this. This is going to be flat all the way across, and there's going to be an occasional spike, just and a freak thing when there's a lot of people doing stuff at the same time. So this graph, once real 5G is launched, is going to be amazing. Okay, so here, figure 3. Congestion leads to poor user experience. And as we know, with Verizon's been fighting for this for years. But now N77 is coming, relief is coming. The smartphone was stationary in the business district of a major U.S. city, measuring time to content for Apple.com once a minute. As can be seen from the chart, time to content is consistently low in the middle of the night when the network is low. But as the load increases during the day, the time of content increases. User experience also becomes increasingly inconsistent as the range between best and worst case time to content grows. In the middle of the day, this 4G coverage area is completely congested. Oh, snap. Even makes the skunk apes mad. Obviously, frequent samples over time are required to get the full picture of the situation. High network loads moves with the mass of people through the day as illustrated in figure 4. The animation shows how high the load first occurs in the morning at the central commuter station, then the high load moves to the business area, then to an event arena, and then later in that evening to a residential area. Okay, so watch the transition of this here. Let's see if it goes. There we go. Okay, watch this. There we go. See how they look. Transfers over there. See how the people goes. See there. Oh, there goes to the arena. Okay. Then look, it goes back to the homes, and there you go. So as you see, this is a huge challenge for engineers. Huge challenge. Because you can't put the same capacity on every tower. You have to strategically put capacity where you need. And that's why people need to be patient with Verizon. And they know where N77 is needed to fix the congestion problem. So they are putting it out there in priority. Unlike other carriers that likes to do it, just say, oh, we got more pops than you. So they're putting like T-Mobile putting N41 on sites that really don't even need it yet, but they want to get those pops. So it's a bragging rights. It's a race. But see, Verizon's looking at it different. That's why when you look at the map, it's really crazy the way certain sites is there and some are skipped over. Because if there's no demand at a site, they're not even touching it right now. So you got to give Verizon credit. So be very patient, because eventually every site will have N77. Every AT&T site will have it. It's just going to take some time. High network load occurs in different areas at different times, as we just seen right there. Users don't experience the average. It's important to measure the full range of the user experience, not only the average, just like the car in Figure 5. Users don't experience the average. They experience the whole range. They remember the extremes, particularly the negative ones. My favorite restaurants meet my expectations every time. I don't like restaurants that exceed my expectations one time but disappoint me the next time, even if this adds up to a good average score. So just like when you're going to the restaurants, your wireless experience is going to be the same way. Yeah, so if you have a bad wireless day and then you have a good one, then you have another bad one, back and forth, most people are not going to put up with that. They're going to start looking for a better carrier. They're going to go try another carrier, and they're going to churn. They're going to drop that account and go to somebody else. So that's really important for the carriers to have the best quality network as possible, so you keep your churn down low and keep your revenue up. Measuring 4G and 5G user experience inside the radio base station. The latest Ericsson radio system software includes an innovative feature to passively measure every throughput at click experience across all live users 24/7 in all 4G, 5G coverage areas. Each throughput at click sample can then be mapped to a certain time and content sample based on the relationship in Figure 2. This way, the full range of user experience is captured, as shown for 2 European 4G networks in Figure 6. The vertical line represents the average time to content. The upper bounds in the shaded area represents the corresponding busy times, worst case. The selected 90th percentile as the worst case in these charts, which means that 10% of all user activities had time to content that was even worse. So if we look right here, you can see as the time to content. See the busy time, see how it spikes up? And this is using, because Ericsson started over there. They do a lot of, their technology for 5G and 4G is all over Europe and other countries. So I am just glad that Ericsson is in the USA and making a difference for our experiences here. So here's the graph. Great, good, fair, poor. So here we go. See, great is 20 above, 10 above, 5 above. Or poor, it's like below 1. Or 1 to 4, or 1 to 5 there. So who cares about peak download speeds in 5G? Today's typical smartphone users don't benefit much from download speeds of multiple 100 megabits per second, but they care a great deal about snappy access to content everywhere and every time, every click. There should be no spinning wheels in 5G. So if it's done right, you won't have spinning wheels. Now, if you do 5G wrong, like putting it on low band or not putting enough bandwidth, the network is congested, yeah, you're going to have spinning wheels. Just remember, the early days of 5G, it's only an icon. That's all it is right now. Many 4G networks around the globe are congested in busy areas during busy times, leads to spinning wheels for many smartphone users. These networks badly need capacity booster shot into the busy areas. However, a good pair of glasses is needed to be able to see where the booster shots should be placed. So that's what Ericsson's talking about here. They have the glasses so they can see where the problem is. So they have the analytics. They have everything to test everything. Get all the stats. Where, when, why, and all this stuff's going, so they can give a booster shot to the capacity of that network and get it back up to where it needs to be. All right, so ultimate judges of the network performance are users. Hence, one should look through the user's pair of glasses to assess the network performance. A good pair of glasses enables you to see the full range of users across all activities. Okay. 5G is not only about smartphones, though. Many communication service devices will start offering 5G-based internet connectivity to entire houses. These households are often connected by copper or fiber. So we're talking about fixed wireless here. So that's got to be good quality as well, because if fixed wireless doesn't perform better than fiber and copper, then the people are not going to use it, and they're going to dump it, and they're going to go back to copper and fiber. 5G is also not only about the consumers. I strongly believe that the 5G will unlock great new opportunities for enterprises. Some of the robots in today's smart factories require data speeds that exceed the data speeds that satisfy consumers by far. Not only that, they also require extremely stable and ultra reliable data speeds. And who cares about latency in 5G? He says he's going to address this subject in an upcoming blog post. I cannot wait to see him come out with that. This guy did an excellent job explaining this for 5G. This is really, really incredible. What do you think, Zero Cool? Are you back? Uh-oh. Must be still on the phone call. He's still muted. Okay, so we got that. Got the phone. So we're going to go talk about MIMO next. Oh shit, a Skeeter got snuck in here somehow. Alright, let's go into comments and see what's happening. I know you guys have been typing like crazy in here. Woo, look at this. Alright, let me see where I was. And here we go with StreamYard. Doesn't tell me where I was at before. Let's see. I think this is where we was. Yeah, okay. Sneed says, T-Mobile buys Sam's Club. Name the new company, Chernobyl. Step 3, Marcella buys the new company under the SoftBank umbrella. Oh, jeez. All right, what do you like to play? Okay. Ricky, if you had a Mac, nope. Don't do Macs. I recommend using iPad. Nope, I don't do Apple stuff. People who have both a Mac and iPad can use the iPad as a second monitor, which is super useful on the go. Yeah, I'm just going to go with my good old huge desktop build, supercomputer gaming thing with a graphics card to get to 4 monitors on the output, and I'm going to put 4K monitors up here. Yeah, I'm going to go big, heck, I'm just going to go big. But yeah, I'm not a Mac fan or an iPad fan, so yeah, thanks for the suggestion there, but I just don't do it. I just don't do Apple. Ryzen 7 5800 is a badass, dude. I have one. I love it. Okay, awesome. Why didn't Verizon turn on N77 before this year? My towers have been there over a year, but only 90 megabits per second. Well, the whole thing is they had to get the license has to be approved to be used. So once you do the auction and you buy the leasing for the license, you have to wait until they're available. So the FCC sends a clear date to when the frequencies are clear, and then you can start using them. Then we had the FAA come in with all their bullshit and delay the N77 launch. So this whole time, Verizon's already been like launching. They've been doing upgrades, so they just haven't flipped the switch yet until just now, recently. So once they get the FAA craziness over with, so that's why we had to wait. So it just takes time, and now we just got to be patient while they do upgrades. Getting reports on SMT's channel that Verizon is upgrading like fire. They're just like going fast. I can't wait to see how this tower down here 10 miles from my house does, and once they get that thing done, it's going to be really exciting. So once they get that done, I'm going to drive up there and do a speed test for you guys on that too. And I'm probably going to take a drive to the southern part of Miami and go check out some of those ultra wideband Verizon stuff, get some more drone footage and do some testing up there. So, but with me working 5 days a week, I've had 2 days off, which this is my first time. So hopefully next week I'll have 2 days off again, and maybe I can do a little road trip for you guys. So, and bring you some more video. Sidecar is even more useful with a cellular iPad and personal hotspot. That way the iPad functions both as internet modem and a secondary space. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's awesome. Lavendi says, why are you getting rid of all your podcasting stuff? Zero Cool. Are you done live streaming? Yeah, well, he's probably just busy. And he probably says, oh, I'll just hop on Ricky's stream. He's got all the equipment. I'll just hop on there. So, January 19th, I immediately got up to 700 megabits instead of 7, or instead of 90. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a huge increase. And Verizon does a really good job of squeezing performance out of just a little bit of bandwidth. Unlike Skunky. Skunky has a really difficult time doing that. EMTech says no N77 on the Note 20. Okay. Well, I think it has to have a software update because they're selling them on Verizon site now that's N77 ready. So that's interesting. Maybe we'll have a software update. I just updated software on my my S21. There was a software. I just updated it. So it had some bug fixes and performance increases and all that stuff. So, of course, the phone's been running good. I've had it for a year now. I've never had any problem with that phone. It has worked every time I needed to. It's always fast. It's always smooth. It's doing really, really good. This phone so far is the best phone I've ever owned of any cell phone in my lifetime. And I'm so old that I'm in a nursing home. What do you guys think of T-Mobile Galaxy Note 20 for us? 5G for $300. Note 20 does not have it. That's what everybody says. Zarg nuts. Also, the S20 series don't have N77. Some of those phones do not have 77. Well, why is Verizon advertising them as 5G phones then if they don't have 5G in them? See what I'm saying? That's crazy. EMTech says all X55 Samsung phones are not compatible with N77. See there? See what Verizon did to you guys? See, they're tricking you. They're making you think it says 5G, so you assume it has all 5G. See, it's crazy. It either should have all 5G or it should not even be a 5G phone. It should not even have the icon. It should not be advertised as a 5G phone. It's crazy. That's why I showed you guys that. I just want to show you how sneaky these carriers are. They're just trying to sell you money. Sell you stuff to make money. It's not about peak speeds to device. It's never been. It's always been about the capacity of the network to never degrade for any users. That's right, SMT. That's right. We've been preaching that for a long time, my brother. Mike says, I disagree. You can get all the benefits of Verizon with a Verizon MVNO. I like Xfinity Mobile. Okay. If your MVNO works for you, then that's a win-win for you. Vivian says she's annoyed that Verizon is refusing to add N77 software to support their 5G hotspot. The Inseego MiFi M2100, which has hardware support for N78, therefore supports a block. Yep. You got to remember, just because the modem supports a specific frequency band, that does not mean the antenna module supports it. There's two things. You got the modem and you got the antenna. If the first 5Gs didn't have the new antenna that handles the new frequencies, then it doesn't matter that the modem can do it. And it can't even do a software update. You're not going to get it because it has to be in the modem and it has to be in the antenna module. If it's set for both of them. And the third thing, it has to be type accepted by the FCC. So it has to be tested by them and it has to pass the inspection before they can say, yes, this is certified for N77. So that's what's going on with phones. The phones are complicated. Okay. Let's see what Tim says. Welcome to rural America. Drop calls all the time on Verizon. I still see 3G on Verizon. All carriers suck. Go back to the landline. There you go. Yeah, see how frustrating this stuff can be? I mean, it's crazy. Let's see. Damn, Tim. Still don't have AT&T yet? Oh, jeez. Tim, do you remember dial and touch tone land? Oh, yeah, I remember the rotary phone. You know, you put your finger in there, go around the wheel and let it go. The next number, go on the wheel, let it go. The rotary dial. Yeah, I remember that. I still remember black and white TVs. I remember 8-tracks. Yeah, I'm so old. That's why I'm in a nursing home now. Yeah, landline always works better, but some markets, the landlines don't work because the copper wires are just so damn old. You pick up the phone, you try to talk to somebody, it's just crackling, popping like crazy. So the whole infrastructure needs to be replaced. But why spend the money on that when you're not going to get your money back? It's called return on investment. That's why these old phone companies are not going to rip up their stuff and replace the lines, because they know that eventually cellular is going to be everywhere, and once it gets to those areas, everybody's going to be dumping their landline phones because the quality just sucks. So once we get populated everywhere, then it's going to get really good. Uh-oh. She also pull a zero cool and get a satellite phone. But I'll tell you one thing, satellite phones are not all up they cut up to be too, because you have to have a line of sight to the sky. If you have a tree in front of you, it ain't working. If you're under the porch, got a roof over you, just wood, and it ain't working. So satellite is very, very finicky too. So you have to be in the open sky in order to get connected. So Baby Yoda says, stop lurking and go like and subscribe. Plus, don't forget to share this content. AT&T does more than suck. They double bill, double charge, double tax for the same service every month. Yeah. I just wish they could improve all that stuff. It's just crazy. I've experienced it myself. Troy says, should I unsubscribe and then resubscribe? Well, I don't know if what that's going to do for you, but I don't think it'll do anything for you. Let's see. Yes, landline always works except for when local central offices go down or the electricity goes out. Well, that's true. That looks like a lie detector test. Oh. Yes, on the slide there. Do not do that, Troy. RFK might have the chat on his channel set to subscribers only and get rid of trolls. Yeah, that's true. If you do unsubscribe, then you subscribe back, then you probably block for 30 minutes from chatting. I think that's what I got it set on. I think I got it set to that. So yeah, don't unsubscribe. They might block your chat for 30 minutes. So that's true. Okay, alternate reality. Hello there. He says, I like Verizon network, but Spectrum did not support my new phone, so I had to go. Tried T-Mobile and AT&T, stayed with AT&T. T-Mobile just didn't do it for me. Too many dead spots. Yep, Swiss cheese. If you're in that Swiss cheese area, yep, that's not good at all. There are 81 people in the chat. Really? I show 36 in here. I want to see more than 18 likes. Oh, I only got 18 likes? Oh, snap. Yeah, hit the like button. Show some love and support. Booster shots. Yeah, that's funny how I use that analogy there, ain't it, Vivian? Absolutely. Booster shots. Yeah, and we know who needs the most booster shots for their network. Yeah, old Skunky does. 5G booster shots for T-Mobile, Skunk Mobile. Oh, gosh, we have so much fun in here. That's why I love doing these live streams. We just have so much fun. Speaking of 5G capacity, this is a fascinating study on how just effective millimeter wave is at adding capacity. Fiercewires.com. Okay, that's the article. Okay. Yeah, I think I did read that earlier. T-Mobile sucks. Okay. Consumer. MVNO operators, Spectrum owners do not want to do business with T-Mobile. Yeah, they're terrible. I've had bad experience. Even now, I'm testing Skunky again after 2 years of having AT&T and Verizon. Going back to them. When I go back to them and I'm just testing the stuff, I'm shaking my head. It's like, are you serious? It's just crazy. The speeds now are lower. The reliability is worse now than it was 2 years ago. It's crazy. And I thought 2 years ago was bad. So, T-Mobile has changed their business strategy, bullying, making threats, like lawsuits in a courtroom. Yeah. Yeah. They brag. They do marketing. And they attack other people. Yeah, they love attacking Dish. They do not like Dish at all. Because Dish is competition to them. Absolutely. Okay, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Caleb's on the phone. That's what I thought. Tim B, use Startling wireless? Or you mean Starlink? T-Mobile wants something for free or less than the market value product they're selling. They will take you to court, try to force you to sell to them. T-Mobile was terrible. Terrible. All right, we are at Windstream, adoring both fiber and fiber. We are soon able to do 900 meg over copper. Ooh, that's pretty impressive. When you travel all around Tennessee-Kentucky border, AT&T has spotty service. AT&T needs to use FirstNet and upgrade those areas. Yep. It's a work in progress. It takes time to build new tower sites and all that. So if there's an area where there's no tower sites, there's nothing to stick an antenna on, then yeah, they have to build that infrastructure first before they even put the stuff on it. Now, if there's a town that has a public safety radio station, like for the police and fire, that has a 300-foot tower sitting somewhere, then sometimes they'll negotiate with them and make a deal, lease the space on it, and go put their stuff on it. Another problem is backhaul. If there's no good backhaul going to where they want a tower site, guess what? You can't put a tower site up. Because if you don't have backhaul, you don't have no good output. That's it. So unless you have fiber somewhere in the middle of the country that can supply that tower, it ain't going to work. So that's why we're limited. If we had fiber all over the countryside, everywhere, there's every highway, every secondary road, every road had fiber everywhere, yeah, you can just deploy this stuff everywhere. But what's going to be coming is IAB, Integrated Access Backhaul. And it's a wireless fiber is what it is. And that is what some of the carriers are starting to use to feed their towers. So that's what they're doing. That's how they're bringing more connectivity to the rural areas. And the speed as well. Okay. I can't wait to see Verizon overtake T-Mobile in 5G than what they're going to say now. Well, I kind of disagree with that a little bit because T-Mobile is not in the 5G lead right now. I don't think that's true at all. All right, so we're caught up in the chat. Let's see. What should we do now? Should we go to the poll? Do we got enough time for the poll? Let's see. We got 30 people in here. Let's see how many people voted in the poll so far. Oh, we got 63 votes. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do this. All right. Which carrier do you think will deploy the most massive MIMO for 5G in 2022? Okay. So let me end the poll. I'll let it post. And we'll get you guys the results. Okay. If there is competition, why do carriers share towers? Because of money, and some carriers are cheap. Well, the whole reason they're sharing towers now is because back in the day, they used to do that. They would put a tower up. There would be 3 towers alongside the interstate. AT&T would have their stuff on theirs, Verizon would have their stuff on theirs, and T-Mobile would have their stuff on theirs. And everybody says, well, that's a waste of time and resources. So, plus, they wanted to launch LTE. And in order to launch LTE, they had to make a lot of money, but they didn't have the money. So what they did is they sold all their tower sites that they owned to tower companies like SBC Communications and Crown Castle and American Towers, all those companies. So the carrier sold everything, just about everything to them. The only thing they really kept was like a monopole or something that doesn't have the ability of having a second carrier on it because the weight and wind constraints on it. So they kept those, or small cells, they kept those. But all the great big giant towers, they sold them. So they used that money to build the LTE network. And that's why we have that in place now. So that is the reason why there's no really, you can't block people from doing it, because right now anybody can put their stuff on the tower. All they got to do is contact whoever owns the tower and get the lease and put their stuff on it. The only ones that you can't put your own stuff on is like for Verizon's sake, the monopoles that's theirs, and it can't take any weight or anything from another carrier anyways. Now those type of towers, yeah, they will block other carriers from getting on them sites for sure. Polls. Yes, let's take care of the poll here. All right, the poll results are in. After 63 votes, which carrier do you think will deploy the most multiple user massive MIMO for 5G in 2022? And the winner is Verizon at 50%. AT&T is at 26%. And T-Mobile is in last place. Well, I really don't consider Dish in last place because they really haven't even built a network yet, so they're still in the building phase. But T-Mobile is at 17%. And 4% of you think that Dish. But guess what? 100% of Dish's tower builds right now has no massive MIMO. That's right. There is no massive MIMO being deployed on a standalone built 5G from the ground up. They're putting a combo antenna up there for low band and mid band that's only 4x4 MIMO. That's what they're using. They're using the LTE old tech. That's what they're doing. Now, we're not sure if later on they're going to add a like Ericsson type panel up there with massive MIMO to go for N48, N77 for what they won on those two auctions there. That's a very possibility they may do that later, and then that will actually help them with that. But yeah, I was really disappointed. I figured they would put a combo panel that has a massive MIMO at the top and then the low band panel at the bottom and deploy it that way, but they didn't do that way. So I don't know. Okay, T-Mobile was willing to sue a church for selling to the highest bidder. It would not be shocked if T-Mobile was trying to court to sue God. Oh, jeez. That's crazy. Does the antenna at least work the same on city-owned water towers? Yes, it does. Yep, they negotiated a deal with city-owned water towers on top of buildings. Yep, they even do flagpoles, and they even do church steeples. They actually put cell phone antennas outside of church steeples and, sell it through do at least through the church and stuff. The towers are much more complicated. Think about the rooftops, billboards, churches, flagpoles, power lines. Yeah, they're even doing a lot of power lines in some here. So it's always easier and cheaper to do existing infrastructure as long as there's power there and there's fiber there. If you got those two there, you can easily just add the stuff to it. All you got to do is just apply to the FCC for the permit for the license, get the lease for the space, and get your fiber all set up, and then you're good to go. All right, so we're caught up in the chat. Let's go to the next part. We're going to talk about massive MIMO and how it's going to make 5G great. That's right. Make 5G great. All right, let me get this up here. Okay, here we go. All right, massive MIMO radio uses antenna arrays to enable massive MIMO techniques. Okay, so as you see right here, this over here on the left, a small array, 2 radios, low gain, fixed beam. So this is what you would say is 2x2. So there's the range. It's just spitting out a little bit of signal. That's the old way. This is the LTE way. Okay. Then they came out and upgraded LTE to a little bit better. So we got LTE advanced, and now we're up to like 4x4 or 8x8. Well, this here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is actually 16x16, but nobody has really done 16x16 other than millimeter wave. I think they've done that on. But as you see, it's a larger array. It's got fewer radios, high gain, limited beam flexibility. So as you see here, so that shoots the beam out farther, and with beam forming, it can shift it around. But most carriers in the USA is going from this 4x4, 2x2. The T-Mobile still has sites that has 2x2 MIMO on it. It's crazy. Meanwhile, AT&T and Verizon sites has like 4x4, and some of their stuff has 8x8 on it. The only thing that they have that's 8x8 for T-Mobile is that big, large new N71 panel. That's the only thing that's 8x8. That's as big as you can go. You can't go any bigger than that. That's why low band's dead for 5G. You can't go massive MIMO on it. You just can't do it. And then you go over here to this, massive MIO. It's a large array, many radios, multiple steerable and shapeable beams. So the software can shape it. It detects where the cell phone is, and it shoots the beam right straight to it. Okay. Future-proof solution providing superior experience. Now look, check this out. Okay, so we got gray, which is no service, or no speed. That's like under 10 megabits per second. Okay, so look at this first picture here. Look at this. So you're spitting this all out. You have under 10 megabits per second over here. Okay, and then see as you go in colors, it goes all the way up to green, where it's 750. Okay, now watch. So this is FDD bands. Now watch. You take FDD plus NR and TDD conventional. You mix this together, and look. the speeds get a little bit better. See, you got some yellows in here, you still got some reds in here, and then occasionally you have some green spots in here. Okay. The downlink user throughput traffic demand according to the 2025 predictions. Okay, so this is what they're predicting. Now watch. FDD plus NRTDD and massive MIMO all put together. Now look at this picture. Let's go bigger here. Let's see. Oops, that's too far. I know some of you is looking at this on a little screen, so get this a little bigger so you can see it. So there you go. So you see here, look at this. Look at all this green. What is green? Look at that, 250 to 500. Occasionally a 750 megabits burst here. And I think we're seeing this with Verizon because they're using this Ericsson massive MIMO right now. And we've seen speeds jump from 90 or almost nothing to like huge. So one nice thing about it with the N77 launch with Verizon, we're actually seeing this, what I'm talking about tonight, happen. You guys are actually seeing it. You've experienced the old way, and now you're experiencing the new way. And that's what SMT, myself, and Carlos, all of us has been preaching for the past 2 years. Massive MIMO, massive MIMO. If you don't launch it, you're going to be last. So this is evidence and proof right here, and now we're actually seeing some of this Ericsson equipment get out there and seeing the difference it's making. So by applying the methods outlined in the previous slides, massive MIMO can support performance that is superior to that of conventional radios. The figure illustrates downlink user throughput for an example deployment scenario given by expected traffic demand of 2025 and compares different solutions. And then here, this shows you here, FDD bands only, 700 megahertz with 20 megahertz bandwidth and a 2x2 radio, and FDD 2 gigahertz with a 40 megahertz bandwidth and a 4x4 radio. See, that's pretty much what everybody's got deployed in the old tech right now. Then you say FDD band plus 3.5 gigahertz, which is, well, in other, this is really geared for other countries because they have high power macro in 3.5 in other countries. So the 3.5 here is N48. It's the low powered shared spectrum. So just remember, in this slide they're talking about Europe. Europe doesn't have the 48. They have the 77. So their 77 actually has macro on 3.5. So here, TDD with 100 megahertz and 8x8 radios. And then when you upgrade to the third part, it's FDD bands plus 3.5 gigahertz, TDD with 100 megahertz and massive MIMO 64 by 64 transmit receive. So there, that shows you the difference. That was the white area up here. That's this. Very slow turtle speeds. Horrible propagation. And then this is the next one we talked about. And then this one's one with the massive MIO. And that's what's showing you what's happening right now. Well, except for Skunky's not doing it. And look at this antenna. Does that antenna look familiar? That's what was in the drone video just a second ago. This antenna right here. Massive MIO is an integral part of 5G. It has already reached general use and is growing rapidly. Massive MIMO solutions consist of a hardware and software part. Massive MIMO provides higher coverage, capacity, and user throughput and can increase the cost efficiency. Massive MIMO features explores the spatial domain and build on techniques such as beamforming, null forming, and spatial multiplexing, which it's all really complicated terms, but basically it splatters the signal in all areas. That way you get better in-building penetration, and it uses the reflection of surfaces to increase the range. So as stuff is bouncing around, it bounces it around, it changes the beam pattern so it can bounce it further. So it's like basically like playing ping pong. You know, when you're playing ping pong, you're bouncing the ball back and forth. And if you turn your paddle one way, it'll make the ball go a different way. So that's what these antennas do. They can constantly turn the beam around, and when it goes out, then the phone comes back and say, hey, I just heard you. Like 15 milliseconds ago, I just heard you. So then that beamforming says, oh, okay, it turns it back to where it previously heard it 15 seconds ago, and then it shoots a signal and it connects to that phone. Now the phone may move to a place or another dead spot. Then it loses the phone. Then it says, oh, I lost the phone. So then the antenna and tower, then it starts moving the beam around until it gets the signal back from the phone. And then when the phone says, yeah, I got you, then it stays right there and it focuses that beam. So basically, beamforming tracks your phone as you move around through dead spots, which is really, really impressive. And that's how we're getting better signal, and that's how we're getting better speeds, because speeds and ping is directly related to the signal quality. They go hand in hand. Okay. Massive MIMO makes use of many antennas. So there's one thing of having just... Oh, my walkie-talkies too. I was going to show you walkie-talkie with just one antenna. So it's one transmit antenna, one receive antenna. So basically, massive MIMO would be like having 64. Just picture this. You got 64 antennas that's transmitting out and receiving. So it's constantly tracking all those signals and gets a more stable, reliable signal. And that's how MIMO makes it better for you. Okay, let's see. Requirements in an evolving 5G network. Let's see what we got next. Oh, there we go. Requirement driver. Oh, look at there. Virtual reality. Purpose of this chapter is to discuss the most important network performance requirements and constraints impacting 5G network evolutions, on highlighting where massive MIMO can make a difference. All right. Oh, look at there. Football stadium. Yeah, and where is Verizon doing on most of their millimeter wave? High capacity areas where you have lots and lots of people and stuff. So yeah, that's why they're using millimeter wave with massive MIMO. I mean, that was actually the first technology used with massive MIMO was millimeter wave. Well, at least with Verizon. I'm not sure what antennas that AT&T used, but or even what Skunky used. I don't even know what they used, but this is what made the high capacity work really good. So, it's expected that 5G would deliver significantly better user experience in any service, anytime, anywhere for both existing services and new services. Many new services require higher output and have more stringent reliability requirements. Time to content. See? Remember what we just talked about before? Time to content than today's best effort. Higher reliability translates into capacity requirements as a stricter reliability, and our latency requirements will require more radio resources than best effort services to keep required margins. Let's see. I'm just skipping over a lot of this stuff because I don't want to bore you guys on the really highly technical part. And I would need Caleb to even decipher some of this because I'm not a network engineer. I just do a lot of reading. So Caleb knows this stuff backwards and forwards. That's too bad he's on a phone call and busy right now. So I would be throwing him at some of this stuff. So just bear with us here. Okay, so higher capacity is required in networks delivering a 5G experience. Okay. So as you see here, here's a timeline. 2015 all the way to 2026. Look at how this curve is right here. Look at this. 0. 350. Look at that. This is the amount of traffic growth. So where are we at right now? We are right here. This is where we are right here. Look at this. We're halfway through the huge peak curve right here. So right here's where we are. So by 2026, we're going to double the amount of data traffic in the world. Look at this. We're going to double the traffic in. So if it wasn't for this 5G network we're building right now, all the carriers would be slow as turtles pretty soon. It would all be unusable because when you add all the extra growth, you have to grow the network at a pace that's fast enough to keep up with the growth. That's why when 6G comes next, they're going to be using even higher frequencies. The higher frequencies you go, guess what? They don't go very far. That's why you're going to have nodes in your phone and in your cars so that you're always close to a node. You're going to have macro sites. They're going to be broadcasting it. Then you're going to have small cells rebroadcasting it. Then your car is going to rebroadcast it. Then each phone is going to rebroadcast it. So your phone is going to be actually a cell site. It's going to pick up signal and data, and then it's going to retransmit it to the person right next to you. And that's why 6G is going to be doing that, because we can't keep up. The 5G mid-band frequency we've got now and the millimeter wave we got right now cannot keep up with this growth. So that's why they're already looking to 6G and the higher frequencies, the V-band and the terahertz frequencies, like Caleb's been saying. So it's growing 50 to 70% a year. That's crazy. There you go. All right, let's see what they got next for us. 4G user experience challenged by congestion in busy areas during busy times. Yeah, we kind of already talked about this on the other. Yeah, so we'll just skip over that because they're just reusing that same thing. We already talked about that. Expanding the volume of the capacity box. Woohoo! So you got more sensitive receivers, more spectral efficiency. So we are effectively reusing the frequencies over and over again, and then adding spectrum. So you got to do these three things to increase your capacity, and that's what Massive MIMO helps you do. Higher capacity can be achieved by increasing spectrum, spectral efficiency, which means how efficient you use it, and site density. The big words that SMT, myself, has been talking about for the last couple of years. Density. And who's got the most dense network? Verizon has the most dense network. AT&T's catching up. T-Mobile still has to fill in those big giant holes. They're Swiss cheese. They got to switch it to like provolone cheese, so there's no holes in it. That's what we got to do. And of course, here the way to do it is we need more spectrum, cost efficiency, capex, opex. So it takes money, time, spectrum. That's what it takes to get all this done. All right, so here, coverage on new 5G bands provides network capacity. Now watch this. Look, low band. See how everybody's saying, oh, we need low band, we need low band, we need low band. Because look, see, low band goes from here all the way to here, right? All right, so low band covers to here. But guess what? There's no bandwidth. It's just a very narrow band. So, yeah, it has coverage, but it doesn't have any bandwidth. And you have to have bandwidth for 5G. You have to have massive MIMO for 5G. So low band is not a NR frequency. It's just not. It's just physically not possible. Sure, you could put a radio in there that's programmed with software and make it 5G and put the 5G icon out. Yeah, you could do that. But
yeah, sorry was so away there, man. I'm back.
Oh, that's okay. We've been just having a lot of fun here, just going crazy here. So we're on the massive MIO part, and I'm just showing them here the bandwidth part versus low band and mid band, the range, the coverage, and I'm showing them how it's this low band is not 5G. It's just not 5G. Yeah, but you go back to mid band, you got carrier aggregation where you can put them both together. Plus, if you use massive MIMO, you use beamforming, which can get you to the cell edge coverage the same.
Yeah, look what that does for your coverage. That's what carrier ag is so important, because when you combine frequencies like that, your edge increases.
Yep.
Your RSRP increases. Your RSRQ. So like if you're doing data or if you're making a phone call, if you have the mid band option on a carrier ag, you're actually the throughput is increased. As you can see up there.
That's true. Because a perfect example for this, the green, let's say that's N41. And you carrier aggregate that with N71 down at the bottom, which is low band. Okay? So if you're close to the tower over here, you carrier aggregate them both together, and you get the efficiency of both. You get the speeds of both bands put together. But now you go farther away, you still have it. But now, let's say you go 1.8 miles away inside of a building. Guess what happens now? You lose the carrier aggregation because you can't carrier aggregate something that's not there. So when you're over here, you're only picking up the low band, but it's not that efficient. So by using massive MIMO antennas, it actually beefs up the cell edge so that you can still use mid-band all the way to the same coverage edge as low band. And that's the first part. The second part is density. So if you put another tower site over here that covers this gap, so you use massive MIMO on mid-band and you densify it, you actually will outperform anything on low band. Right now, low band is just a band-aid. It's a crutch until density and this beamforming with a massive MIO is deployed.
And here's the other thing. The more mid-band spectrum that you carrier aggregate, the further it goes due to your frequency range and what we call P-cell. So P-cells is your primary cell. So basically what that does is your user equipment is actually looking for a P-cell all the time, right? So instead of it looking for a low band signal all the time, once you get the beamforming involved, it's going to say, hey, oh man, I have a P-cell at AWS, I have a P-cell at carrier ag on PCS on AWS, and I have a P-cell on C-band. So with those RF configurations, what you do is you decide, okay, I got my P-cell, I want, for example, like N41, and then I got my S-cell, which is your secondary cell, and so on.
Right. Have you seen this handbook here, this Massive MIO handbook from Ericsson? Have you seen it yet?
Yes.
Oh, you have? Okay, so you're familiar. So let me go back to the top and work my way down in case you want me to stop some. Now, I talked about all this, what I was able to. There's a couple points that was over my head because I'm not an engineer. So I just want to go down through here. If there's something sticks out that you want to talk about, just tell me to stop, and we'll just cover it.
Well, what stuff? I mean, the stuff that's low over your head, I can expand on if you want me to.
Oh yeah.
Let me know.
So yeah, we talked about all this stuff a little bit here. But if you see something, just think about, well, wait a minute, I'm not. Oh, this thing wasn't in one-page mode. Oh shit! It actually switched back on me. They say there's 2 pages in this handbook, and I was only going on one page. So there, I got it back to the single page now. So maybe let me use the page down here. Here we go. Yeah, there's 3 parts of Massive MIO. Yeah, I didn't get to this part because it was on the 2-page mode. I didn't see it. So there's 3 parts of Massive MIMO. There's capacity, and there's compact. So if you have to put something very small, because you can't put anything very big up there because the wind will rip it down. You don't have much support.
Keep in mind those compact solutions like that. Those are usually on top of buildings, and buildings are going to have a lot of EDT on it.
Or small cells.
No. Yep. Well, yeah.
And coverage. So you got also the coverage, which means you're trying to cover a large area. So that's the 3 type of MIMO hardware you got. And of course, up here shows you. Well, let's see. This shows you how it works here. You got 3 sections here. Let's see if I can go a little bit bigger. Oh, there we go. I think I'm still on a single page. Okay. Yeah. So as you see here. Let's see, you got capacity. So the green is capacity, the blue is compact, and then red is for green's coverage.
Yeah, green's
for compact,
coverage,
and then the red is for capacity for more traffic load.
Right.
Yeah. And that shows your 3 types of antennas there. Okay. Let's see. Oh, look at there. Where's that? Is that Denmark? It looks like Denmark. Is that where Ericsson's at? Are they in Denmark or Sweden?
Sweden.
Sweden, that's right. That must be where that's at. Alright, here's the introduction. Oh yeah, so we missed this part. I actually was going down the second side of the page. Huh. History and future of Massive MIO. What is Massive MIO? I already explained that. Why is Massive MIO used? I explained that already. How does Massive MIMO work? Yeah, kind of did that already too. All right, so we'll go down through here. Let's see what we missed. Massive MIO is here and now speeding ahead with 5G. There we go. So this shows you 2019 all the way to January 2020. As you see, as it's launched, the speeds is getting better. And like I told him before, don't get confused with this 3.5 gigahertz. This is overseas. This is in other countries where they're using it for macro. In the USA, 3.5 is band 48.
Yeah, so basically in overseas, your range for the Siemens is it goes from like a 3.5 to a 3.8, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a reason why. Well, they say it's one reason why they altimeter situation.
That's N78, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And N77 is actually lower. It goes 3.1 all the way up to 4.2 or something like that. Okay. Oh yeah, here's the parts of this. So this is a conventional. You got a baseband unit which controls everything. The radio with the transmitters that transmits it to the passive antenna, and then you got the conventional. This is the old way right here, and then the new way is massive MIMO. You got the same baseband, plus you got a massive MIMO radio, which plugs into the massive MIMO antenna, and then of course it has the backward. This communicates back with the baseband radio. That's how it steers the patterns and the beamforming and all that stuff.
Hey, give me a second, man. I'm sorry. I got a damn phone call again.
Okay. No problem, man. Busy man.
Fuck.
All right, let's stop here. Let's go back to the comments. Let's go while he's on the phone. That way he can come back and join us there. Let me find out where he was here. Man, you guys have been chatting like crazy here. Okay, let's see. PATech says, still doing 2x2 here. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. I'm back having dinner and some coffee. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot to make my coffee. I got to make my coffee. I didn't have enough time. I went live before I made my coffee, and it's like, oh, shit, too late now. Well, we'll get Kid to come in here and explain something, and then I'll go make me some coffee real quick. All right, so hello. Everybody's saying hello. Massive MIMO looks great in theory. Let's see how it works in the field. Well, we're actually seeing it in the field. Look at N77. It's actually being deployed. Now, some of the stuff that N41 is massive MIMO, but it's in split mode. They're running 32. They're running half the antenna on LTE and the other half on 5G. So that's why it's not very optimized, not working very good, because you're using half of the capability and half of the beamforming. So that's because they didn't want to use DSS. So, but later on, when you get more 5G phones out there, they're going to redo those antennas and do a massive MIMO on there. Caleb already says that they're working on that now. Once they start converting them over to massive MIMO on N41 only, then we're going to see a bit of an improvement, hopefully, with T-Mobile, with their deployment. It will make things much better for you guys. So we'll just keep crossing our fingers that T-Mobile gets her done. And hopefully you've got more smart people like Caleb out there on the engineering team that's doing this. But of course, they can only do what old Neville the Pebble says to do. If Neville Pebble says half-ass it, guess what? These guys got to half-ass it. That's their boss. They're the one. They got to listen to their boss. Okay, let's see. Verizon is a leader in stability. Yep. A lot of people agree with that. Verizon is the leader. AT&T. Yeah, 5GE. Yeah, that's not even real 5G. Yeah. Thanks, Baby Yoda. Let's see. Massive MIMO would be the real game changer along with the standalone 5G. Yep. Verizon deploying 5G with a mixture of LTE, millimeter wave. Yeah, the layer cake, as Neville the Pebble says. Yeah. What does standalone 5G actually mean? Okay. So right now we have non-standalone. So basically what you're doing is you're taking a tower site and you're adding 5G to it, the new radio 5G feature and frequencies. And then you still have the LTE stuff on the same tower. Basically what it does is it takes the LTE equipment and the new 5G equipment, all those bands, whatever's configured, mixes them together and then spits it out to you. So basically it's using both systems at the same time. It's like a hybrid electric car. So basically, you got a gasoline car, runs on gasoline. Well, now you come out with a car that runs on gasoline and it's electric. So it's a hybrid electric. So it's hybrid. So think of non-standalone as a hybrid network. It's got LTE and it's got new radio 5G on it, and you're using both at the same time. In the very beginning, when like T-Mobile launched 5G first, they launched N71. Which is only like 15 or 20 megahertz of spectrum. Meanwhile, the rest of their spectrum, 30, 40 megahertz on the other frequency bands, on mid-band and the other low band, is still on LTE. So that's why when they did 5G, it wasn't any better, because they was using low band, which didn't have the proper hardware equipment on it, and that's why you didn't get the speeds. So once you go to standalone, you're going to get rid of the LTE. And there's no more LTE, it's gone. But until you do that, you have to replace all the LTE equipment with 5G equipment. That way you have all frequency bands on 5G, and they're all linked together, and you have a brand new software core that runs it. Once you have the software core on 5G and all the antennas are switched to 5G, all the hardware switched to 5G, now you're 100% 5G. That means everything's 5G. So then it'll perform 30% better once you do that. So that is the difference between non-standalone and standalone. That's the difference. I remember MIO tech being used in Wi-Fi routers. Yes, that's true. Wi-Fi routers have been using massive MIMO for a couple years now. It actually came on their devices first. Standalone means that you won't rely on LTE no more. Yeah, that's right. Does anyone have a Boost Mobile? Through these comments here. Hello, Tom. Welcome to the show tonight. He says, which carrier has higher priority boost? Boost or Mint? I don't know. I actually don't know that. They're both MVNO. I know which carrier has, which MVNO has better priority than both of them. It's Los Mobile. So if you guys haven't checked out, check out Los Mobile. He sells the high priority access as an MVNO. Good deals. It's losmobile.com. Why does everyone at Boost tell me they run on T-Mobile and not AT&T? And when they do start running on AT&T, it won't be for a couple years. Well, that's not true. They're doing the migration right now. They're switching everybody. They're dumping the skunk. That's what they're doing. They're all dumping the skunk. No more skunky on Boost Mobile. It's going to be 100% AT&T. They're switching out the SIM cards. Gigi, are you 45 years old? Let's see. You guys are talking about Boost and stuff. Okay. Yep, the 12-month plan. That you get a nice little discount with that. Yep. I laughed my ass off at T-Mobile. They have the worst network in America, and T-Mobile thinks they can buy Brian Roberts. Yeah. Vivian says 6G will definitely happen by the 2030s. However, it will rely on repeaters as heavily as LTE relies on carrier aggregation. Terahertz will need repeaters as densely deployed as light bulbs currently are. Yeah, that's pretty much true. It's mainly going to be on phones and cars. That will be the new cell phone towers in the future. Oh, that's the black SIM card. Yeah, I think the black SIM card's the AT&T one. If 6G terahertz repeaters are sufficiently cheap and small, however, they could actually be feasible. For example, imagine a 6 terahertz repeater that screws between a light bulb and a socket. Yep, that way it powers it and then transmits it out. Yep, that's true. But the range is so hard. Well, you're going to have repeaters too. Every device has to be. It's going to be like the Pivot 5G that they're using for millimeter wave to repeat everything. So it's going to be like that. It's going to use holographic beamforming. You're going to have a donor, and then you're going to have repeaters, and that's how it's going to spread the 10 gigabit speeds everywhere. Okay. What would be perfect is a very dense network relying on midband, of course, impossible. Well, it's not impossible. It's just time consuming and it takes money to deploy it. But still, that would be great. That's right. It will happen. It has to happen. Because you can't have 5G without a dense midband. It's impossible. At least to have the standards, anyways, to do like it's supposed to do. Sure, you can put the LTE in there when put a 5G icon on there, but you're not going to get to 30% efficiency out of it. That's the whole point of NR, is to get 30% more speed, 30% more coverage, and 30% less ping. That is the goal of new radio. But new radio can't happen without launching the hardware that's necessary to get to 30%. So if you use a LTE antenna for 5G, you're not going to gain anything. You're only going to get the software gain. You're going to get maybe a 5% gain of anything. 5% is nothing. So that's why the 5G on low band is just not going to work. It's not the way it was designed. The 3GPP standard specifically has massive MIMO in as hardware. Okay. As of January 12th, Boost rolled out an unlimited plan. Oh yeah, good plan. Gosh, you guys are really talking about Boost a lot here. Boost. Okay, let's see here. Why do they call it a TN-SIM? Because it's T for T-Mobile and N for network, so it's a TN-SIM, T-Mobile network. See, if it was TM-SIM, it would be TMS. TMS. What's the code name for AT&T? So it's an AS. I think it's AS. Alright, if you're a Comcast and friendly customer, Venmo has very high post. Yep. If it helps, the terahertz antennas are anywhere very small. Every light bulb size form factor could support massive MIMO array as terahertz frequencies. Oh yeah. Yep, but there's a lot of stuff that has to happen before they even use that stuff. We just got to get past the 5G first. So, yeah, it's going to take several years to get past it. I'm thinking about another poll. What are you guys thinking of another poll? Yeah, just put it in the comments. If you got a poll question you want me to post here, just put a question in there, and I'll make a poll question for you guys to vote on. Give you guys something to do while we're talking about the presentation here. Yep, thank you for everybody for coming. We still got 32 people in here. We're in here an hour and 40 minutes. So yeah, we could probably finish this up another 20 minutes, and then we'll see if Caleb's back. Talk some more about this stuff. All right, so Massive MIMO is addressing key network characteristics. All right, so we got user throughput. Let's see. User experience requirement. There's your coverage. Okay, so the blue line is a conventional. That's the old way. The green is the new way. So as you see here, see how much more you get both. You get increased capacity and you get increased coverage. So see the difference? So this is why when you have LTE equipment using the 5G icon, that's why if you're using LTE equipment, you're going to be on the blue line. You're going to be, even though you switched it to 5G. So if you're using LTE equipment on 5G, you're on the blue line. If you're using massive MIMO equipment on the 5G icon, you're going to get the green line. So see there? And over here on this one here, look at this. Same way. Look here. The blue line, the green line. You want to be on the green line. Definitely. Increased capacity, user throughput, and coverage in both uplink and downlink for existing and new frequency bands reduce the total cost of ownership. Yep, being more efficient. Let's see. Yeah, this just shows you what spatial multiplexing does. Increases the data rates per parallel data stream, so you get more data streams. So the single user, the old MIMO is just 3 layers into one phone. Now it can break those 3 layers up into multiple streams. So now layer 1 can go to Johnny's phone, layer 2 can go to Vivian's phone, layer 3 can go to TomTom's phone. So see there? You each got your own dedicated pipeline to your phone by using multiple in, multiple out. And then beamforming increases signal quality by focusing the power. So if you take the power and you splatter it in all directions, you're limited on power. But if you take that power and you reduce it but put it in a narrow beam, you can use the same power per megahertz, and then you can shoot it further. And that's how you get the mid-band to go as far as low band. And one example is as band 66. Band 66 uses higher power on mid-band. It uses 60 watts versus 30 watts. That's why band 66 performs so well. It is almost as good as low band. And just imagine when they do N77 with this beamforming. It's going to be incredible. All right, so we got beamforming, spatial multiplexing. Okay, 2 different levels of importance. There we go. Beamforming basically says the same thing. Let's go on down. All right, okay, there. Or now we're on the other side. Okay, I had this thing on double page and didn't even realize. Okay, so we already talked about that. Oh, here we go. Let's get back where he was. Sorry, Caleb is still on a phone call. There's the football stadium. There's the traffic growth. Efficiency. Oh yeah, okay, there's where we was talking about that. Showing you again. Mid-band with beamforming is better than having carrier aggregation with low band. See here? Beamforming takes it out to the same distance as low band. And you got twice the capacity. That's what we've been saying. Mid-band is going to be the new low band. That's right. So here, lower. So you can get your antenna set here on your beamforming. You can set up the beamforming for low-rise deployment, so it beams it down to the lower floors. Or if you got a high-rise building next to the tower, you can actually use the high-rise deployment settings, and it actually shifts the beams to the upper floors so that you can get service when you're clear up here. See, when you're over here, you're on the top floor, your phone doesn't work because all the energy is shooting down below. But with this new high-rise deployment that they can do on one panel on this MIMO, it can shoot the beams in multiple angles. You can get more coverage this way. Let's see what's next here. Deployment scenarios and load affect the performance of the different products. So what we got here? Okay. So 32 by 32 and 64 by 64. Oh, this shows you the different antenna. Okay, yeah, here we go. So look at that. So would you rather have a 4x4 antenna connected to your phone, see here, and get 1 megabit down, or would you want an 8x8 antenna and get 1 to 3, or would you rather have a green antenna that's doing 32 by 32 like N41's doing right now because it's in split mode? Okay. Or do you want the whole antenna to yourself, which is the yellow one, which is 64 by 64 with massive MIMO, which gets you 5 to 6. So there you go. That just shows you. Do you want the old LTE stuff on NR, or do you want the new stuff on NR? There it is. It's right there in front of you. So anybody that keeps arguing with Ricky saying low band is needed for 5G is plain crazy. The only way we need LTE or the low band right now is it's a band-aid. It's a crutch to 5G until we get all mid-band density like we need to. So this is not my opinion. This isn't my opinion. I'm not biased. This is engineering stuff right here. This is the facts. So let's see what else we got here. Well, none of you has complained about my scanner. I got the antenna, the microphone pointed towards me, so hopefully the scanner's not coming in here too good. So if it is bothering you guys, let me know. I'll get up and go and shut it off. But I think you guys still can hear me really good. So this mic is really good. It's set up in very close mode, so the farther you get away, the gain goes down. So I got set up so you got to be really close to it. So all right, let's see what we got. Okay. All right, so before we go to the cost savings and stuff, let's see if we got any questions and to make a poll. All right, let's see what we got for a poll question here. Let's see, where was we at here? Massive Techno owned by T-Mobile, then was bought by Sprint. Yeah, Sprint was actually using Massive MIMO first. That is correct with their 5G build. But then T-Mobile used it stupidly and stupidly shut down. That is correct. They everything that Sprint did that was actually working very great, they ripped it down. Even Sprint was using split mode though. They was using 32 on LTE and 32 on 5G. So even Sprint wasn't doing it the best possible scenario and way. That's because they was limited. There wasn't any 5G phones out yet. So they had, if you switch it to all 5G and you don't have no phones to use it, then you're actually hurting the LTE customers because there's not going to be enough frequency spectrum for them. So it's a balancing. When you transit from one technology to the next, you have to make available both technologies. Otherwise, then the customers will suffer with speed and performance and everything. All right. Well, nobody put a question in the comments, so I can't do a poll if you don't put a question in there. So there you go. Think of a question, a poll question you want me to put up here. I'm going to do that. All right. So TCO per delivered capacity matters for investment decision. So, all right, cost per site. See, that's what helps out when you're deploying new technology. The cost per site, the capacity needs versus the product potential. The cost per delivered capacity. See, Massive MIMO has a superior total cost per capacity. So it depends on your CapEx. So deploying Massive MIMO actually gets you better performance for less cost. And that's why they're doing the massive change right now. It's going to save money. Uses less electricity. Uses the spectrum more efficient. Alright, so what this is, okay, traffic load variation. Yeah, this is kind of like repeating the same thing we did. This is a time graph showing you the peak times. Yeah, we know from 10 o'clock until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon is the most peak times. Okay, all right, we did that already. Oh, come on. All right, let's see. Massive MIMO solutions. Okay, here, let's look at some solutions. This is what's out there. Oh yeah, this is what the component. This is what 5G is right here. This is a hardware update. You up the radio access network. That's what RAN stands for. RAN is radio access network. So it's a computer baseband unit. This is the controller. There's a cable that plugs into this to the radio. This is a remote radio mounted up on the tower. It's a RRU, remote radio unit. And then you have the passive antenna. So you mount the antenna up there. The radio plugs into the antenna. This plugs into that. The backhaul plugs into this baseband unit. So you plug the backhaul in. Then you have the front haul, which you plug in the front haul to this, and then you plug the front haul into this. So then you got the data going from here to here, and then the control panel actually controls the radio, and then the radio controls the frequency, the transmit power, controls the beamforming stuff and all that. And that's the same thing with the Massive MIMO radio unit. So you can use this radio for this, or you can use a specific radio for the MIMO antenna. This is what you do for 5G. You can't replace this baseband unit with a 5G unit with 5G software, connect it to a radio that's LTE technology, and connect to an antenna that's LTE technology. You got to connect the right radio with the right antenna with the right software and the right, and then you get your icon, and then you get your performance all together. That's what makes 5G real. So now everybody understands when I say fake 5G. And there's, here we go, different functional distribution remote radio units versus massive MIMO. Okay. All right, let me find this here. While we're talking about it, let me put this up on the screen so you can see it. All right, let's find this here. Let me find this. Since we're talking about 5G. Oh yeah, this is a good example too of how things work. And then we got the other thing for people to say, what is the standards? Because I keep saying standards for 5G, so put the standards up here too. Okay, so there we go. All right, so here's the standards right here. Okay, here. This is HSDPA, 4G LTE, 4G. Let me make this bigger. 4G LTE Cat 4, 4G LTE Advanced, which is basically 4G LTE Plus. And as you see, 4G LTE Plus goes up to 100 or 1,000 megabits or 1 gig. And then 5G picks up where this cuts off and goes all the way up to 10,000, so 10 gigabits. All right, so we got that. And then we got this one here. These are the 8 things according to the standards. Up to 10 gigabits data rate, 10 to 100 times improvement over 4G, and 4.5G. So if you want to get technical, this early stage 5G icon is really 4.5G or LTE plus, like I've been saying all along. 99.999% availability. Do we have 99.99% availability in the United States? No, we don't. 1 millisecond latency. No, we're lucky to get below 10. Although the N77 is approachingly getting there. We're seeing pings down to 12, 13, 14 milliseconds on N77 and speeds almost to a gig. I think once they go standalone and they double the capacity on that, I think we'll get below 10, just like on millimeter wave. We're going to eventually get down to single digits. 100% coverage. 1,000 times the bandwidth per unit area. 90% reduction in network energy use. So the equipment has to be more energy efficient so it doesn't use so much power. And you can't get better power use until you get down to where you're below. You get these massive MIMO antennas up that's set up to use half the electricity. Up to 100 times the number of connected devices per unit area compared with 4G. So you got to have 100 times the capacity in one area when you go from 4G to 5G. So all these things here right now, the only thing out of these 8 things that we're close to with the early hybrid 5G, as you want to call it, is what? The latency is getting close to under 10, and the speeds are getting close to a gig. But some of this other stuff has not even happened yet. This has not happened. This has not happened. This is starting to happen. This is another thing Massive MIMO is doing. 10-year battery life for low power IoT. See, we're not even close to that. We're not even close to that. 1,000 times bandwidth per area. We're not close to that. We need more frequencies, more auctions. So not until we get more bandwidth. So right now, the ping is starting to get there, and the speed is starting to get there. So right now, we're hitting about 2 to 3 out of the 8 to getting real 5G right now. And this little map here shows you the range of the 3 different bands. You got low band, has the furthest range. Okay, mid band has the next best range, and then you got 5G millimeter wave band is in the middle. It doesn't have that much range, but with the Pivot 5G repeater with holographic beamforming coming out, is going to make the millimeter wave perform almost as good as mid band. Okay. And with massive MIMO, the mid band is almost going to perform like low band. So see that? Millimeter wave and the next evolution is going to turn out to be like mid band. Not quite, a little bit better. Then mid band with the massive MIMO and all that new technology coming out is going to make it perform almost as good as LTE. Low band LTEs. Yes, what this is. So, in the future, low band is going to be pretty much it's just a band-aid until these 2 steps have been done. When millimeter wave is dense, when mid-band is dense, then you're going to start seeing low band is just going to be repurposed for other stuff. It's not even going to be really the main layer cake. They keep saying the layer cake, the 3 layers. Well, if you want to get technical, low band is not even part of the layer cake because it can't be real 5G because it can't be massive MIMO and it doesn't have wide bandwidth. Now, if you carry or aggregate this low band with the other stuff, yeah, you get a little bit of a performance bump in capacity, but you don't get that much. There's not much low band available for each carrier. So low band is just a band-aid right now. Okay, so let's talk about these different antennas. This is how this stuff is. This is pretty complicated here, so I would need Caleb to explain this. But this part's showing you 2x2 and 8x8. This is kind of like LTE. And then this shows you how the baseband unit is set up. And then 16x16 and 64x64 massive MIMO has all this stuff added into it. So yeah, it's adding beam forming. So it has multiple layers. So there you see the massive MIMO radio is a lot more complex and complicated than the old technology. So that's all this is just showing you. It's just showing you there's more stuff going on. There's more stuff for the engineers to do. There's more optimization. This is just easy. You just throw it up and turn it on. It's not going to work very good, but it works. It's what we've been using for the last 10, 15 years. But this takes a little bit more densification and more optimization. And a little bit more smart of deploying it. You got to get the antennas aimed the right place. Okay, so we got... Yeah, that's still just a continuation of all that. I'm not going to bore you guys with the stuff that's really hard to explain. So, I mean, I could turn this live stream into a 10-hour live stream just talking about this, but I'm just trying to get you guys the basic parts of it so you just understand how important it is to have 5G with this equipment. That's what it's intended for. And thank God Ericsson, Nokia, and Samsung is starting to bring this tech to us. So we already talked about that. Yep, talked about that. Let's go a little faster here. Oh, here, let's talk about the antennas. These are actually the model numbers of the antennas. Look at this. So the coverage antennas are Air 3236s and Air 3219. Okay, you're wondering, what's an Air? What's Air mean? Okay, Air means antenna integrated radio. That means the radio is actually built into the back of the antenna. So the first half of it is the antenna, and on the back side, the radio is actually attached to it. Instead of having a separate radio, you mount on a pole, and then the antenna you mount on the same pole. So that's the difference. So that's what an AIR is. It's antenna integrated radio. And then here we got the compact footprint optimized for capacity. So look at here. Well, these are also high power too. They can handle up to 320 watts with 200 megahertz of bandwidth. That's a massive. Okay, so this one, the Air 3239 does 100 watts and 100 megahertz. The Air 3227 does 200 watts, 200 megahertz. Air 3278 does 200 watts, 300 megahertz. The Air 3268 does 200 watts, 200 megahertz. And then the new stuff I was talking about last night on the live stream is this. Now they got one that's got a combination. It has the old 4x4 on the bottom for low band and the old low band or mid band frequencies like band 2, band 66. You throw that in here, and then the top half of the radio is actually one of these that's molded. It's attached. They're like connected together to make it look like one huge antenna. So then you have your massive MIMO for your new 3.7 N77 up top, and then you have this. So just because you don't see one of these little square antennas on the site doesn't mean there's no N77 there. It's possible they might have just replaced the whole panel and put this whole complete new panel up here that's a combo. It has both in it. So this is hybrid Air, and this is an interleaved Air. And then you got capacity bandwidth with ERP are optimized. This is the 6488, which is 200 watts, 100 megahertz. 6449, 320 watts, 200 megahertz. This is what mostly popular that Verizon's doing right now. Is the Air 6449 is what Verizon's doing. And then you got, and then this is also dual band. This has got two different. It's got two different radios on the back, so it can do frequencies on one half and frequencies on. So that's what this can do. It can do a wider bandwidth. So you can do like band 40 or N48 on one half of it and N77 on the other half of it. Then you got Air 3228, which is the whole antenna, which is 240 watts, and it's also multi-band. And then you got the 6419, it's 320 watts and 200 megahertz. And then you got the Air 3258, 320 watts and 400 megahertz of spectrum this thing can handle. So as you see, Ericsson has some of the best sets of antennas that can take care of any carrier's needs, whether they need coverage, being compact, or they need capacity. Let's see if we got any questions here. Okay, where was he? Okay. T-Mobile had a very good network. Very happy. Very good customer care. Very good marketing. Happy employees. Happy customers. But all of that got flushed down the toilet when John Ledger ditched T-Mobile. Yeah, well, I don't think it was all John Ledger. I think that he just made everything look good. There was deception and lies going on. They was doing things completely opposite what they was telling you. And he was just a mascot, and he was the guy just making everything look good. Once he left, then I think everybody started seeing the real T-Mobile come out, and I think that's what really happened. Wow, y'all still live? Yeah, it's only been like 2 hours. Yeah, we're just getting started here. Yeah, we're going to finish this MIMO presentation. Hopefully Caleb's back and we can talk about some more good stuff. And you never know, maybe somebody will crash the party. Maybe Dennis will pop in here. Or, well, SMT's probably in bed sleeping right now. He's got to work tomorrow. So, see, I'm off tonight. So I'm up all night till 6 a.m. anyway. So enjoying my night off. So, yeah, just glad to be doing a double live stream for you guys like this. This is pretty cool. All right, so let's see. Serious thinking about reprogramming my router back to 2.4 because 5 is not everything as well. See, it just depends on what you're doing. You got to remember, 2.4 has more power and it's a lower frequency, so it goes farther. 5 gigahertz, it doesn't go as far, but it's got twice the capacity. 2.4 is like low band. 5 gigahertz on your Wi-Fi router is like mid band. Less range, more capacity. So what you have to do is you have to densify. Your Wi-Fi router has to be densified. You got to get you a good router like a Zeus router with Wi-Fi 6 in it that has AI mesh in it. That's your repeater node. Basically, you get a second router and you put in the other room. It connects to the first router. It has a dedicated bandwidth on 5 gigahertz that powers the second unit. You don't have to hook it up to nothing. You just put that node in another room and it connects to the first main router, and then now you're going to have fast speeds and you're going to have good coverage. So it's possible to make a Wi-Fi network good. You just got to know how to deploy it. So that's what you got to do. You got to densify. So if you want better Wi-Fi in your house, if you got 3 floors, if you got 2 floors, you got first floor, second floor, and a basement. You need 3 routers. You need the main router wherever your modem is. The other 2 are going to be nodes using AI mesh, and they connect together. So you have 3 routers, and then that covers your whole house. You'll have fast speeds in your whole house. That's the key to making your Wi-Fi great in your house. But I know, too, that costs money. If you get 3 routers with that technology, it does cost more money. So I know that's a limitation to some people. But 2.4 is not going to give you much speed, even though it gives you good range. The speeds is horrible. But as long as you're not playing games and you're not downloading big files, you just, browsing the web, watching YouTube on low resolution, you'll be fine. Between Verizon and AT&T, if we only look back largely, we have 100% coverage. Yeah, got 100% coverage to the largely populated. Like right now, we're right at about, let's see, what are we at? I think it's 75%. 75% of the population in the USA is covered by wireless. 75%. Okay? Now, what percentage of the population is inhabited with either a road or houses or businesses? It's only like 85%. I think it's about 85%. The rest of it is not even inhabited. So there's no point in putting a cell phone tower in the middle of a desert if there's nobody living there. And the trouble is, if you do that, the cell phone company is not going to make their money back. They're going to spend $3 million on this tower, but there's no subscribers going to be joining the service to pay it off. The only people that's going to be using it is the people that's roaming around across the earth. They go from one state to another. See, so you go by wherever your main focus, where you live and work. That's the area that you're using your service the most in, and then that's where the money that you're paying for your service is. Like if you're paying $80 a month, that $80 goes into that area. Now, when you go into another area and use your phone, the money that you're paying doesn't go to where you're using it at. and that's called market share. So if you don't have market share in a certain area, if you make a whole bunch of debt by putting up a bunch of towers that nobody's going to use very much, you're not going to get your money back. So it's return on investment. That's why FirstNet is being so successful with AT&T on getting coverage. 99% of the population will have AT&T, because FirstNet is being funded by the government, is actually helping them build out the areas so that you can get that 99% coverage. So when FirstNet is done, when AT&T is done, all the population of the United States will have cell phone signal. That's a fact. Even if it only has a couple bands, it may not be the fastest on the network, but at least you can make phone calls and you can do minimum stuff. Remember what they say? If you got a good ping and you got 20 megabits, you can just about do anything. And as long as you got the capacity to support multiple users. So that's coming. AT&T will eventually have the most densest and most coverage of anybody. They're even going to beat Verizon, I believe, because unless Verizon spends the money and takes a chance on the return on investment and goes to those areas where they don't have market share, if they can get another kind of government contract that can help pay for it, they could probably do the same thing. Something like the military or the DOD, something like that. Somebody that does a big contract that needs to have every part of the population covered. Apple, Google, Samsung, Motorola has built 5G phones for the Verizon network. Yep. You're getting a nice choice of phones. Okay, so let's go back here. I didn't get any questions, so we don't have no more polls going up, but that's okay. All right, let's finish up this MIMO presentation here. Ericsson has a comprehensive radio portfolio. So yeah, this is just showing you all the stuff. The radios, antennas. See, these are the radio remote unit is all these, and then in the middle is the massive MIMO antennas. Okay, then over here you got the street and indoor. So you got indoor antennas that you can put on the indoor, and then you got microcells, and then you got millimeter wave. So you got these different antennas for millimeter wave. So you got the Air 5322, the Air 1201, and this one is a 5701 or 3701. I can't tell what this one is. So you got 3 different millimeter wave antennas you use. You got these ones to use for microcells, for like small cells. That's what a microcell is, small cells. And then you got these you can use for indoor. So Ericsson has all types of antennas to cover everything from macro sites to millimeter wave sites and small cells and in indoor stuff too. And so when you're talking about small cells and indoor, you're talking about densification. That's what I was telling you about. A densification of mid-band is better than low band. Some people were arguing with me that we got to have low band. We got to have low band so we can have indoor coverage. It's not true. Low band is not the solution. It's just a band-aid. Here's the hybrid air, showing you how it is. Here's the top, massive MIMO at the top, and the FDD band combinations on the bottom for the old 4x4 stuff. And this one's the interleaved air. Okay, so we're almost done here. See, I don't mean to bore some people on this technology, but we got some people that's really interested in how this stuff works. So, okay, and this talks about the software. So you got massive MIMO features like beamforming and stuff. Then you got the conventional stuff like the old tech, and then you got the radio access net features, which combines everything together. What is a massive MIMO software feature? Yep. Just like what we said before, it's the beamforming, null forming, and spectral multiplexing. It's what makes the antenna perform better. Categories of massive MIMO. Alright, so we got coverage, we got capacity and performance, advanced MIMO for extreme performance, and ease of deployment, so for cost efficiency. So you got 4 different layers to pick from. Yeah, some of the stuff's repeating itself. So, oh, look there. Yeah, we got energy efficiency, coverage, capacity, performance, advanced MIMO for extreme performance. Yep. So these antennas you can customize for a dense urban area, like with high rises, and then a regular urban area, a suburban area, and then rural area. So that's the nice thing about Massive MIMO. They got 4 different types that fits the different types of networks that you're deploying. And I'm saying right now, Ericsson has it going on. I think Ericsson is doing the best out of any of the equipment manufacturers for helping us get this Massive MIMO out. I think they're giving the best price, flexibility, and all that stuff for the customers. And I think that's why Verizon jumped on and got these guys, because they're so good. I mean, they're ripping Nokia off sites and putting this Ericsson stuff in its place. So it's pretty impressive. All right. Well, this is talking a little bit about the. See, here's a single beam width. Here's restricted beam forming, and then here's fully flexible beam forming. So you got different types. Depends on what you're doing. Massive MIMO is awesome. Yeah, we pretty much talked about this already. High capacity demand, and then just low mid capacity demand. So you got different demands depending on what kind of site you got. Oh yeah, energy efficiency. There we go. Electromagnetic field exposure handling. See here, you know everybody's talking about 5G is going to kill us all. It's spraying all this energy out. It's going to kill us all. Well, look. The electromagnetic field is beamed so that you don't have to use as much power. Instead of splattering a high amount of power everywhere, just trying to catch a phone to catch a signal so it can respond back, say, yeah, I hear you, tower. Here I am. Send me the data I need. Okay, instead of doing that, basically it's putting beacons out. It puts little pulse beacons out and sprays it everywhere, just a beacon. It's not a continuous, it's just a beacon. When your phone catches that beacon, it says, okay, here I am, I'm right here. That beam will come back and say, oh, okay, I see you. Then it will focus a narrow beam of high energy straight to that phone instead of splattering it everywhere. So that's why it's more efficiency. That's why you can get more range out of beamforming. And it's safer. It puts out less radiation in the air. This electromagnetic field exposure handling with the beamforming should make these conspiracy nuts with the 5G going to kill everybody. This should make them all happy. This should make them all jump up and down saying, oh, Ericsson solved the problem with us. We don't need our tinfoil hats no more. There you go. All right, so we're almost at the end of the page here. All right, summary of the solutions. Well, we don't need no summary. We just did everything. We don't have to summarize everything. Let's say, yeah, we just did all that. Yeah, this is a summary of everything we talked about. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, this is showing the frequencies. Look at this. Yeah, I got 2Gs blue, 3Gs purple, 4Gs green, 5G is orange, and then ESS is green and orange. So what's ESS? So yeah, I don't even know what ESS is. What the hell is ESS? See, we found something I don't even know. Let's see if I can figure it out for you. Shit, if Caleb was here, he'd say, oh yeah, I know what ESS is. I don't know what ESS is. Let's go before this and see. Best use of... This might have ESS explained here. Let's see. I don't see no ESS anywhere. Oh well, whatever ESS is. Let's see if we can figure it out here. Alright, so we got band 28, 700 megahertz. So that's equivalent to what we have here. 12, band 12, band 13, band 14, okay? Band 20, 800 megahertz, okay? Now you gotta remember, this is Europe, this is overseas, okay? So band 20 is equal to our band 5, okay? So that's what the second green one is. Band 8 is 900 megahertz. We don't use that in USA. Band 3 is 1800 megahertz. We don't have that. We have band 2, which is 1900 megahertz. So it's right above that. 21 megahertz, that's band 1 over there, but for us it's band 66. Okay, band 66. So it's 1700 megahertz up and 21 megahertz down. Band 7, band 38, band 41, 2600 megahertz. That's equal to what N41 with T-Mobile has over here. It's like 25 megahertz. It's just a little bit lower. And then you got band 42, band 43 overseas, which is basically 3500 megahertz, which here in USA it's band 48. But our band 48 is the shared spectrum, which is a low power. And then you got 5G millimeter wave at the top. And that, of course, is 24, 26, 37, 39 gigahertz. And this over here just shows you the equipment, how they set up on a cell phone site. It shows you the antennas, the radio units, the front haul, and all that stuff. All this stuff goes together to power all this stuff. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we did that already. The solutions, we did that already. The steps towards a radio solution. Here we go. You got to get a network strategy. You got to network assets. And then you got to figure out what your needs are. Coverage, capacity, or user authority. Your constraints, which is the ease of deployment. I forget what TCO is. Energy efficiency. And then the next thing, you got to pick a radio solution, whether it's mid-band, massive MIMO, and the type of antennas. And then you got to come up with a solution. Coverage, capacity, or ease of deployment. And then that's how the cell phone carriers and engineers picks a network deployment. So when N77 was time to turn on, they had to go through these steps. You got to remember, this handbook is geared towards engineers. This handbook teaches engineers how to deploy massive MIMO. That's why Caleb said he already had this and read it, so he kind of understands it. So that's what this is geared to. I'm pulling something from the engineers, and I'm trying to break it down for you guys as consumers and show you what's going on, what they're being trained to do, how things work, so that you guys understand more about the 5G technology coming out and what makes it 5G. So that's the whole purpose of my channel, is to help you guys, teach you some stuff and make it more simpler and understand how things work. And then once you guys understand how it works, then you can kind of see how each network deploys their network, and then you can say, oh, well, these guys are not doing it right. Oh, these guys are doing it exactly right. Oh, these guys are kicking it out of the ballpark. So just like me. So when I've been bashing T-Mobile for 2 years, it's not because I hate them. It's not because I don't like them or they did anything bad to me other than provide bad service. It's because I've did my research. I know what's out there. I know how networks are deployed. I know about this stuff here. And that's why I say the stuff I say. So it's not opinions. It's not being biased. It's the facts. So I'm just sharing with you the same knowledge that I gained to you guys, so that you in the tech community can make a decision for yourself what is going on out there, and make a good decision on what you're going to do for your wireless carrier that you pick. And I understand that some of you have budget constraints, and then you have places that where you want a service, but they don't have anything deployed yet. So it's all about the money you have and where you live. Depends on what network you're going to get with. But if you have a choice where you have all three networks and you have enough money to purchase each of them, you need to make a decision. Which of the three do I want to get? And this will actually make or break that decision for you. Here, yeah, we talked about that already. Yeah, it's all abbreviations. Oh, here we go. Here's some abbreviations. So, and if anybody wants a copy of this, just let me know. Just send me an email. Everybody knows my email. It's on my YouTube channel. If you go into the about part, my email address, and you guys can always email me anything you want to ask me. If you want any of this stuff, I can send you a link to it, and then you can download. This is all public information. Anybody can have it. It's not copyrighted. It's available for training purposes. So you can look this up and you can study it yourself. See, 3GP, third generation partnership project. That's who makes the standards that we're talking about. Two-dimensional. So I'm not going to go through all these. You know, some of these we know, like CAPEX is like CA's carrier aggregate. But this has got all the things in it. MIMO. So it's got all this stuff in there. So this is all abbreviations for this wireless tech that we were talking about. So you got all the RAN stuff, radio access network, all this stuff. Well, there you go. And this is some more, and then this has all the references and all this stuff. That's pretty much it. That's done. And then don't forget too, the millimeter wave. This is what they're launching for millimeter wave, to use holographic beamforming to make millimeter wave go 4 to 5 times farther than what you have now. So anybody that says, well, millimeter wave is a dead technology, well, it's not. Because with this new Pivot 5G technology, one of these nodes grabs this, it's a receiver, it grabs this one here, it grabs the signal off of the millimeter wave tower. So, and it puts a dedicated IAB, integrated access backhaul, so it's got wireless fiber from the millimeter wave, takes it over here, puts it over here, injects it in here, and then it retransmits it on another frequency and shoots it down the street in different directions. And using holographic beamforming, it splatters it everywhere. So you get 4 to 5 times range. And the better the signal is, the better the speeds are. So you can still get multi-gigabit speeds even when you leave the millimeter wave node. So they're going to start popping these up everywhere. Everywhere there's millimeter wave for Verizon, they're going to be popping these up. So if you're out in your neighborhood, look on the poles. You might see these two little antennas on here. And it has a battery pack and a solar panel. This doesn't hook up to any electric. It uses solar power, has a battery. It doesn't need any fiber to run to it. It doesn't need anything. It's all integrated by itself. So this is the Pivot 5G. And then the other one is the Echo 5G, which is going to shoot it inside the windows of structures. So you put this thing on your window and it'll shoot it inside your whole building. So there's the Pivot. Let me find the Echo. Echo. See, there's all the antennas in there. Okay, this is just for the Pivot, so I don't have the Echo one up. But the Echo one is made kind of like this. It just says Echo on it. It's attached to a window. It attaches to both sides. It clamps on one side of the window, and then the units clamp together on the. And what it does, it has the antenna on the other side, and then it shoots it in there. So it picks it up on one side and it shoots the signal inside the building. So basically it fills the whole interior indoor areas with millimeter wave from the outside. So with Pivot 5G and Echo 5G, it's going to make millimeter wave really, really, really good. Alright, so with that, there's your presentation tonight. We're in 2.5 hours here, and poor Caleb is busy at work. So that's the thing. Being an engineer, you're busy at work. So okay, let's see. I know he was here. Okay, so, yep, we're still live. We're going to wrap it up now. I'm going to see if we got any last-minute questions. Let's see. I think you got that already. Rural America will always have less coverage. There's not enough people to produce enough customers to recover their cost. Yeah, that's the return on investment I was just talking about. But, you know, with FirstNet and government grants, we may see that build out. So hopefully the rural areas will go. And here's where you get your return on investment, like with Verizon. So let's say you develop an area that doesn't have very many people. But if you can get them as a cellular customer and a fixed wireless customer for their home internet needs, you can get both of them. You get 2 plans. It's a double money. And if you can densify that area with that 5G out there with good speeds and good pings, you can get them to become a Verizon customer to get their cell phone on there and get their home internet on there, so they can make double the money off the service. And those kind of areas they can get their return on investment on. So Verizon probably will do some rural areas just like that, just because you can double the amount of subscribers just because of fixed wireless. And you know, some of these rural areas don't have a good fixed wireless. ESS is Ericsson's version of DSS. Oh, okay. Americans have better common sense than Russia. Anytime Americans hear the words nuclear radiation, we get nervous. We know. Yep. Chernobyl. The benefit of Lost Mobile is that you can use the great plans network. In my case, T-Mobile, my personal family have Los Red and Los Blue. Yep. Los Mobile is really awesome. Good price, good priority. Get 4K video on it. Get nice hotspot bucket of minutes. Will Hawaii ever get C-band or millimeter wave? Well, I don't think anybody bought license for N77 in Hawaii because it's not a very densely populated area except for the coastlines. And I think the LTE networks is pretty much taking care of everything. With T-Mobile, they're doing N41 over there, so that's giving their LTE more capacity. But as far as Verizon, AT&T, I don't know what they're doing over there. And I don't know if they're going to do millimeter wave over there. Millimeter wave right now is just in the urban, dense areas where you have fiber on along the street. So with millimeter wave, you got to have high capacity fiber that you can run to the site, and you have to have electricity, and plus they're small cells. And you have to do multiple of them, so that's what limits it to the urban areas. It would cost lots and lots of money to do millimeter wave in a countryside. So that's where the N77 is going to come in. It's actually going to be the new millimeter wave in the form of mid-band, and N77 is going to be deployed nationwide. They're going to start with the urban areas first, and then also the areas with capacity needs. But eventually, every single Verizon site will have N77 on it, and it'll have the whole 120 megahertz on it, or whatever they have. They have the whole thing on it. And then once we get that, then it's going to be really good. The whole country is going to be good. And then once they get done with that, the next step is just build more sites, just expand, just make it even more denser and add more sites. Pretty amazing. The future looks really great. I believe millimeter wave is available in Hawaii via Verizon. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even look at the map. I didn't know. I wouldn't word N77 is the new millimeter wave. well, when you can't put millimeter wave everywhere, then N77 is the next best thing. So you don't have 2, 3, and 4 gigabit speed like you do on millimeter wave, but you can still have gigabit speeds on N77. Once they get all the bandwidth done, you can get gigabit speeds. So, I mean, that's still pushing you into 5G, real true 5G, low latency, and a gig speed. So that will definitely work. That will definitely work. Okay. All right, so what do we want to do now? There's 25 of you left here. What do you guys want to do next? It's 2 hours and 31 minutes. Are we good for our double live stream this week? So we're going to shut this thing down, or do you guys want to look at something else? Do you want me to go to the N77 map and look at it for any of you guys that missed last night? You can always watch the replay too. So you can watch yesterday's live stream. If you missed it, you can watch the replay. We can go in here and we can take a look at some N77. If you guys want to do that, let's look at some N77. Okay, so let's look at the map here. Yep, so here's how Florida's look. Oh, let's see, I went too far out. Let's see. Michael says, let's keep going. Speed test AT&T your house. Oh, you want me to do? I don't have AT&T right now. Well, we lost Los Mobile AT&T, so that got shut off. I don't even have it. So I just have Verizon, and I have Skunky. I got Skunky on eSIM. Skunky, I can't even use it in my house. Verizon, I can. Verizon's really good, but it's only like 30 megahertz of bandwidth. So there's no point in doing a speed test on Verizon when it's only 30 megahertz. I mean, it's like gives me like 150. It's good speed. Let's see. Does AT&T have good coverage near my place? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have good coverage at your place. You're in an urban area. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back in. Okay, here. Oh, there. The dark colors are N77. So let's just take a look around the country here. There's Louisiana, a few places. Here's Texas, what they've done so far. Dallas-Fort area. And the little circles are where there's millimeter wave in that area. So that shows you the millimeter wave. The little circles. There's Arizona, Vegas, California has a lot of N77. Yeah, look at that, a lot of N77. And then over there, Utah, you got some. You got some in Oregon. Got some up in Washington. And then see the next color is 5G nationwide, which is Not even 5G. It's fake 5G. So this 5G nationwide is low band 5G. It's fake 5G. So it shouldn't even be called that. So. And then, of course, the other color, the light color, is the 4G LTE. And look over here, Minnesota. There you go. Now let's go down to the Midwest here. There's the Midwest. Wow, Kansas don't have no. Colorado don't have any N77 yet. But still, that's pretty impressive. The Verizon has 46 PEAs. It's turned on already. There's Arkansas, Missouri. Chicago. That's so bad. I shouldn't say that. Just because they're the murder capital of the country don't mean I should call it that. There's still a lot of good people there. You got Detroit. You got Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Columbus. Cleveland's kind of spotty. Pittsburgh's kind of spotty. Up in New York, it's spotty through here. Nothing up here. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut's a little spotty. Pennsylvania over here is not too bad. And then you got Philadelphia's pretty solid. New York City looks pretty solid. And you got, oh, you got Delaware. Even has one N77 site. Look at that. And then you got Tennessee. Wow, they got it in Tennessee. Look at there. Virginia Beach, a couple little spots. North Carolina, a couple spots. Look at that. Charlotte. Whatever this is over here. Alabama. There we go. We just took a trip around the country. And you can go on Verizon.com. Here, I'll just put this right in here. So if you guys want the Verizon N77 updated maps, you can just click on it. There you go. Alright, let's see what you guys were saying in here now. Okay, let's see. T-Mobile actually has great outdoor coverage. Yeah, that's true. Just about everywhere you go, they don't have very good indoor coverage. It's because you're using 2x2 antennas. They don't have the 4x4 antennas or massive MIMO on N41 like they need to have. Talk to Los about it. I'm sure he'll try to get you set up with AT&T. Oh, so he's back. Oh, so well, I just talked to him yesterday. He didn't say anything. So yeah, once he's not very busy, he'll probably call me up and say, "Hey, you ready for your AT&T to be turned back on?" He'll probably either ship me a SIM card or I don't know if we can do eSIM on my S21. Hopefully, I can do eSIM. I'd rather have it on there. I don't like switching SIM cards back and forth. That's a pain in the ass. N77 has faster speed, shorter range than N71. Well, the faster speed comes with the amount of bandwidth. So that's what gets you the faster speeds. Now, as far as the range, like N71 is low band. It's not even real 5G. It's fake 5G. It's not using massive MIMO. It's just got 4x4 or 8x8 MIMO, which is not even massive. So it doesn't give you that good of a boost. So, and it doesn't have much bandwidth. So N77 is mid band. N71 is low band. So basically, it's like night and day. N77 will always be faster, just because even 20 megahertz of N77 is going to be faster than low band, just because it has massive MIMO antennas. I wish Verizon would set up a way to tell the difference between N77 and millimeter wave. Well, when they first launched the map, they did. They had a darker color that was millimeter wave, and then they had this color that you see on the map now was N77, and then they changed it. They integrated it all together. So I don't know why they did that. But if you go to places where they don't have N77, like if you go to, let's go to Cleveland. I'll show you Cleveland. We were looking at this last night on my live stream. We went to Cleveland. When you zoom in where there's no N77, you can clearly see where the millimeter wave is. See, those big circles is N77. Where's that? Oh, where am I at here? Oh, I didn't go far enough over. Okay, here we go. Here's Cleveland. Okay. So you go right here. This. Oh yeah. See it starting to show up now. There. That's all millimeter wave. See, that's street 5G. See, it doesn't go. They only painted the map on the street because millimeter wave right now only works on the street until they get the pivot 5G and the Echo 5G done. Once they do that, then this is all going to be solid coverage. It's going to be good indoor and outdoor. But until that is done, then this is N77. See, it's a solid color. So if you see anything like this, this is millimeter wave. See how far I can go? Oh, see here? See, here's millimeter wave. N77. Over here. Look, here's millimeter wave right here. This is just scatter. This is scattering from other towers. See, it's split. That's all it is. It's just line of sight because there's no trees or anything. So N77 can go really far line of sight, but you're not going to get very good performance. So it's going to work really good up to like 1 mile. Anything beyond 1 mile, it's going to be, the speeds is going to really slow down a lot. It's going to not perform as well. So here is a millimeter wave right here, millimeter wave right here, right here. And I think that's it for millimeter wave around here. The rest of this is all N77. See there's no, yep, there's no millimeter wave up here. Oh look, there's a little patch right here. Look, there's a few nodes right there. Now that's just a little blip right there. I don't know if that's a millimeter wave node or if that's just scatter off of N77. And look here, we're down on the ocean front. This is all millimeter wave. It's a wide open area. So that's why it covers more, because there's no buildings in the way. So, and then this is all scatter. This is all scatter from the, well, there you go. N77 goes 1 to 2.5 miles. Yeah, it's pretty much 1 mile. Now, if you happen to get out in an area where you don't have much foliage, much trees, and you go outside, you might be able to get it 2.5 miles away. It just won't perform as well. It performs the best under 1 mile. N77 is not millimeter wave. N77 is 3.7 gigahertz. It's microwave band. It's just a lower frequency. Michael says, true standalone 5G is being built by Dish Network since they do not have pre-existing cellular. Yep. Yeah, there's a standalone. They're not doing any LTE, but they are doing LTE antennas in the beginning. Dish is not putting up massive MIMO. So that concerns me. That really concerns me. We have new technology out there, massive MIMO, and they choose to use LTE equipment. So I think when we see our first speed tests with Dish, I don't think we're going to be very impressed. And the ping, I don't think we're going to be very impressed with the ping. So I don't know. I can't wait to see the first speed test, but I don't know how they're going to get the ping down low without massive MIMO. That's part of the key of getting a low ping. Look at Hawaii. All right. N77 is high band. Nope. N77 is mid band. It's sub 6. Anything from 6 gigahertz below is FR1, which is sub 6. So 3.7 is considered sub 6, so it's actually mid band. Once you go above 6 gigahertz, now you're in millimeter wave band. It says all fake 5G. N77 can hit what speeds? Well, right now, N77 with 60 megahertz is getting anywhere between 400 to 800 down. And the pings are, I see in pings between 12 and 18 is what the pings I'm seeing. So when Verizon doubles that and puts up 120 megahertz, it's going to double the speed. So if you had 400, that will be 800. If you already had 800, that's going to be 1.6 gigs down. And when it goes standalone is when the ping is going to drop. But right now, as soon as because you have LTE mixed with NR, that's what's making the ping that good. There's too much LTE contaminating the 5G. So that's why you can't get the good pings. You have to have 100% 5G in order to get good pings, to get real true 5G. 6379C2. Okay, so we're going up to when you check mine, RFK, check Comcast Wi-Fi hotspots and check the Verizon network. Okay. Yeah, I'd have to go to Comcast Wi-Fi hotspots. When you say currently N77 hits 300 to 1, but in late 20 they should get faster. Yep, they should. It's a long ways to Hawaii. I forget what PCI is supposed to mean. PCI means what direction panel the sector is. That's the sector. Kind of like... Oh, that's a video. I'm about to go to pictures. Oh, I don't have the pictures up here. Oh, here, let me add a picture for you. Let me add a picture for you. Let's see, where's a close? Oh, here's a close-up. Show you the different sectors. Trying to find different. Thought I had a really close-up picture. Where'd it go? Oh, this kind of shows you what it is. Okay, see how you got these three antennas pointing one way, these three antennas are pointing another direction, and then this is pointing in another direction. Okay, so these are sectors basically. Each group of antennas is pointed one direction. That's one sector. This is a second sector, and this is a third sector. So basically what this does, the PCI tells you which direction, and I think it uses the degrees, like 0 degrees to 360 degrees. I think that's what you use. I'm not sure about that exactly, but I know the PCI tells you which direction or which PCI sector it is, if that helps you out. Okay, Hawaii. Hawaii's over here somewhere. Hawaii is so far out. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any N77 yet. Let's keep on going. Well, there's nothing on the Big Island. Nope, just LTE. Let's see if there's anything here. Nope, there's no N77 and there's no millimeter wave. Well, let's check this island here. Let's see. Nope. No N77 in Hawaii, and there's no millimeter wave in Hawaii. There you go. There you go. There's your answer. Okay, let's see. Low band can only hit 500 megabits per second, but up to 1 megabits in. Low band by itself would never hit 500 megabits. It don't have enough bandwidth. The only way that you get low band to get you 500 megabits is if you had all the frequencies. If you had band 17, you had band 12, band 14, band 13. If you had all the bands, and you had band 5, and you had band 71, you have all of those together. That would be equal to like 100 megahertz. Well, I don't even think it'd be that much. But if you could get 100 megahertz of low band, I think you might be able to get 500 megahertz. Low band 5G can do like 20 to 150. Mid band can do 100 to 1 gigabits. Yeah. Well, it depends on how much bandwidth you have. If you have 20 megahertz of N71, I still don't think that's going to get you 150 megahertz or megabits down. I don't think you can get that much speed out of just 20 megahertz because it's not that efficient. It's not using massive MIMO either. And you can get that speed 150 if there's nobody using it, but if it's got a normal capacity load on it, you're not going to get them speeds. maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, like dropping a can of paint. Yeah, exactly. And even more on mid-band in the future. Will I get the same speeds on Boost as I will on Saint? Well, it's going to be different because Boost using T-Mobile is using the trash network. You're going to get the performance of their network. It just depends on where you are too. It depends on what frequencies are on your phone too, what bands you got on your phone. AT&T, it depends on what bands you have there too. If you have all the right bands, AT&T is going to be faster. Now, you could be in certain areas that you have N41 on the T-Mobile SIM, and if you got N41 in the phone, then yeah, you can possibly get 200 or 300, 400 down. That is possible. So it depends on the phone. It depends on where you are, and depends on how much bandwidth is on either one. How is Colorado? Colorado's a great place. Just sent you a C-band speed test screen recording on Twitter. Alright, let's look at Twitter. I guess you sent it on as a message. Yeah, I see a message. Okay. I don't know if it'll let me download it or not. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. That's just a map. Yeah, let me see. Let me try to open up again. Oh, okay. I see the video. Okay. The rest were just still shots. Okay, just pictures. And then there's one video. Okay, let's see. It's not letting me do anything with it. Yep, it's not letting me do anything with it. I can't open it up. I can't move it. I can't do nothing. Well, let's see. Well, I can do that. Let's see. I gotta change my window. Let's see if this works. I have to expand it. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if this works. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. That's N77. Look at that. Right, 28 ping. That's LTE pings. And then 675 down. That's LTE plus. Jitters 2.8. That's good. Upload is really beautiful. 56. That is a very, very fast and reliable LTE plus performance. Even though it says 5G ultra wideband on there, but you know, as more capacity comes and it goes standalone, then we can get it to be like real 5G. So that's excellent, most excellent. Okay, let's see if we get this back here. All right, let me shrink this down. So get back on get my Twitter back where it's supposed to be. Oh, it didn't go there. Let's see here. Come on, Twitter. Get back where you're supposed to be. There we go. There, it's back. Okay, let me get back on my StreamYard. Okay, also remember the N77 max range will increase by 50% in July when they increase the transmit power from 62 to 72. So I don't know anything about that. Why is it at 62 and not 72 or 72? And what is let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, dB M2 watts. See, I don't have that stuff memorized. I don't know what's the difference between 62. Okay, so here we go. So we got 62. All right, so 62 dB is 1584 watts. That's ERP, of course. That's that's affected radiated power. So with 1584 watts, that's probably around, that seems like it's around 20 watts before it hits the antenna. Now when you increase it to 72 dB, that makes it from 1584 to 15,000 watts. I don't see that happen. I don't think that frequency 3.7 can do that much power. I mean, 15,000 watts, that's a lot of power. I don't think those frequencies can do that, because millimeter wave is only doing, I think it's like 1 watt, and then when you figure out the ERP, I wish Caleb was here. He could tell me what watt the millimeter wave is. I can't even remember. I'd have to look it up. But 72 dBm is just, that's a lot of power. 72 dB is what I can put out on amateur radio. Well, that's 15,000 watts. That's more than, I can put out 1,500 watts myself. So yeah, 62 dB. Yeah, 62 dB is what I can put out basically on amateur radio, which is 1,500 watts. That's what I can do. 72 dB is way too much. You got to remember, each dB you go up dramatically increases the ERP. 15,000 watts. I don't think there's any cellular system in the United States that's putting out 15,000 watts. I think the power limits on N77 is only like, I would have to look it up. Here, let me look it up. What is the power limit ERP for N77? Let's see. Let's see if somebody's already figured it out. Okay. Okay, there's a test report. Oh, limits of output measurement for N77. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this tells me anything here. I have to look it up. I know there's a rural power and then a urban. There's two different power limits. So, okay, this is the FCC report here. Let's see if it says what dBm it is. I just can't believe 15,000 watts on 3.7 gigahertz. That's just a lot of power. That's just a lot. Lots of power. I mean, you're talking about 15,000 watts. That's what a FM radio station on like 99 megahertz would put out. Well, they can put out as much as 50,000 watts. Okay, N70. Okay, max ERP. Okay, here, or this is, let's see, N41. Okay, there's the frequency. Okay, N41. (28, 27, 21). Okay, N77. 28 dB. 24 dB. Of course, this is not ERP, I don't think. This is just... Oh no, this is ERP. Max ERP power is 28. Okay, what device are we talking about on here? Oh, this ain't even in USA. Oh, this is not even for a main site. See, that's the thing. You gotta find out for an actual cellular site. That was actually for a laptop. I was going to say 26 dB is like too much, or too. That's very low power. Must include. Okay, let me change. I hate searching for Google. Google, when you search for something, all this crap comes up. Other crap comes up that you're not even looking for. Do they have to retouch those millimeter wave towers to add to echo? No, they do not. The tower sites are done. The millimeter wave sites are all done. What they do is they just come and they just strategically put the pivot and the echoes in the neighborhood around where the millimeter waves are already. So they just go up there. They just say, okay, we need it right here. So they look for the closest telephone pole, and then you get permission to add equipment to it. Insane pings. Yeah. 28 ping. Millimeter wave starts between 30. Well, millimeter wave goes all the way from 6 gigahertz. 6 gigahertz and up is really considered millimeter wave. See, that's the thing. You got some people saying this standard, then you got these other people saying this standard. Just like C-band, okay? C-band is 3 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz, okay? 3 to 4 gigahertz is S-band. It's S, as in snake band, S-band. It's in the S-band. It's not in the C-band. C-band starts at 4 gigahertz. So why the FCC all of a sudden says, oh, we're going to call it C-band? I don't understand why they did that. So it's crazy. But they did it, and that's what it is. But when you say C-band, you're talking about a whole bunch of spectrum, which got multiple different frequency bands and many different auctions in that. So just like if we say L-band, if I say so tomorrow, oh, I got really great L-band here in Florida, what are you guys going to say to me? Well, which part of the L-band? Because what is L-band? It's everything that's in low band. All of low band and mid band is L-band. So when I say L-band, I have to be specific in the frequency, or whatever the license is, like it's band 12 or band 2, band 66, it's different parts. So by them saying C-band is the whole band, but it's like, okay, well, so which auction are we talking about? Are we talking one for 3.7? We're talking about 3.5 for the low-powered stuff, the shared spectrum? Or are we talking about 3.4, which is the second auction? Or are we going to talk about the fourth auction, which is 3.1, which is coming up soon? So when you say, it's going to get to a point, it's like, which C-band are we talking about? That's where all the confusion is. That's why I'm trying to get everybody to steer away from, I think we just should say what band we're talking about. 3.7, 3.4, 3.5. Well, 3.5 is it's got its own number. It's band 48. If it's LTE, it's band 48 for 3.5. It's N48 for 3.5. Now, this is USA we're talking about. Now, the 3.4, nobody has said what they're going to use for the band number. We've got to wait to see what the FCC says. If they say band 77, that's going to cause confusion. Because when you say band 77, then you're going to say, okay, well, which part of the band 77? Is it the upper part or the lower part? So, I mean, it's just crazy how they're just making things more complicated, especially for us tech creators that's talking about it every day. It's just causing lots of confusion and everything. Honestly, yeah, I know. I'm sick and tired of hearing that, honestly. Hawaii is going to be without internet for the first because it relies too heavily on satellite services for relocation to be feasible. Yeah. I don't even know if they auctioned any license over there. I don't think they. I think it was all just the mainland is what they did. But anyways, I have to do some research on the N77 power limits and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have to do that another day. But yeah, we've been streaming for like 3 hours now. So we're going to have to. So we're just going to wrap this up. See if there's any more questions in here. Yep, only the 48 states will have it. Yep, I thought that was the case. Comcast, Xfinity, Xfinity, Verizon Wireless, 9.3. Okay. TomTom says, wow, 600. Upload could be better relative to the download. MS says should be as it's logarithmic. That's right, because your power increase is logarithmic. So to go 3 dB higher, you have to double your power. So if I'm on amateur radio and I'm doing 100 watts, to go 3 dB higher, I have to double my power. So I have to go from 100 watts to 200 watts, okay? Now if I want to go up another 3 dB in signal, I have to double my power again. So now I got to go from 200 watts to 400 watts. Now if I want to go up another 3 dB, I have to double my power again. So now I got to go from 400 watts to 800 watts. If I want to double my power again to go up 3 dB, I have to double it again. So now I have to go to 1600 watts. So that's how the logarithmic scale goes for as you increase in power. And the sound does the same thing, like with a siren on a fire truck is the same thing. It has a logarithmic scale too. So because the sound pressure is at 3 dBs as well. So you have to double the power to get another 3 dB. So if you go from a 100 watt siren to the 200 watt siren, then you have to double things up on the dB scale. So instead of going 120, I think a 200 watt siren is something like 126 dB, and 123 dB is like a 100 watt siren. So that just shows you right there, kind of instance there. So their engineers said they'd go to 72 dB in July. I don't see that. I don't see that how that could be possible. I'm just as an engineer, I don't see how an engineer can even say that, because if you increase the power like that, then you can't reuse the frequency very much, because that power is going to go really, and you're using massive MIMO, that is going to splatter that stuff so that you can't use it for like 6 or 7 miles. You would have to have the tower spacing like 10 miles apart if you did that. And that would not be very good density. That would not work very good. And then the sites would interfere with each other. You can't overpower the signal, because then they'll clash with each other. So that if they are going to use 72 dBm, there has to be another factor that we don't know that lets you use that. Now, it could possibly be the spectral efficiency. If Caleb was here, he could tell us. If it's 72 dB, like you say, then maybe that's over. Since it's massive MIMO, then you can do higher power limits because it spreads it over across multiple antennas. So that probably is true at 72 dBm, but that's because you're using it in a massive MIMO antenna. That's probably why, because it's using beamforming and all that, and then it won't interfere with each other. So when you talk about that power, 15,000 watts, that's across everything. And remember those panels I was showing you, they had a maximum of 320 watts on one antenna. But of course, that 320 watts you're talking about, that is your 64 by 64 transmit. So each transmitter can do like 30 watts. So when you add each transmitter together, 30 watts times 64, what is that? I'm no mathematician. Okay, 30 watts times 64 MIMO would be 1920 watts. So there you go. So yeah, if you spread it around that way, so a 30 watt transmitter would go 1920, and then you got to factor in the whatever the dB gain is on the antenna, and then you multiply that. So if you do 64 by 64 transmit on massive MIMO, and then you multiply the 1920 watts by the ERP, then yes, then you could probably get up to 15,000. But see, you're spreading it across the whole massive MIMO. So each single transmitter is not going to do 15,000 watts. You're actually dividing here, we can do this. Okay, let's do 15,000 watts divided by 64, because you got 64 transmitters. There you go. That's what it is. So that 15,000 watt number you're talking about, that is the whole antenna transmitter. That's 64 transmitters is putting that out. So there you go. I just figured it out. 64 transmitters is putting out 234 watts ERP on each of the 64 transmit. So 64 by 64. So in reality, N77 is putting out 234 watts. So you really can't you're not really putting out 15,000 watts because they're not being all combined and adding on top of each other. Basically, you're putting out 64 individual 234 watt ERP signals, if that makes sense. So there you go. It took me a second, but I figured it out. And I did it without Caleb's help. Holy cow. I'm getting good at this shit. I may try Apple when the iPhone 14. That phone is supposed to be a really kick-ass phone. If it has, well, I don't know if it's going to have the X65 modem or it's going to have, they're going back to that other modem. I don't know. There's rumors that Apple's going to switch it up. They're going to go to a different modem. But that's still a year away. So I don't like festering on stuff a year away because it could change so many times. I mean, some of these YouTube channels, that's all they do. They talk about rumors. Oh, here's the rumor on S22. I mean, I'm just so sick and tired of hearing rumor after rumor and rumor. It's like, well, it's okay to do a rumor at 6 months out before the phone's done, but just don't keep like beating a dead horse. Don't keep coming out every week and say, oh, well, we were wrong about this rumor. It's really going to be this way. And then come out next week. Oh, we heard a new rumor. Oh, we heard this. We're going to heard that. It's like, it's just very annoying to me anyway. So, Michael says the cellular tower's power output is limited by the terms of the spectrum license that the main network operator buys from the FCC. Yeah. So, yeah. But that's where the confusion was. When you're saying 72 dB, that was 72 coming off of all 64 transmitters when you combine them all together. That's what that is. But yeah, there's no way you can do 15,000 watts on one transmitter. You can't do it. That's too much. So we figured it out. Skunk Band. Okay, TomTom says, RFK, what's the best, fastest for you in your place? AT&T's the fastest here. I have 50 megahertz of bandwidth. For AT&T, and I can get 300. For Verizon, I have 30 megahertz of bandwidth, and I get 150. That's what I got. And then with Skunky, with, say, what is it, 65? No, 70. 70 megahertz of spectrum with Skunky. My speed is 200. So you see, Skunky has the most spectrum, but they're not the fastest. So there you go. Verizon has the best efficiency of it. They got 30 megahertz and they can still put out 150 speed. That's impressive. Verizon does the best with the network. They can squeeze the most speed and latency out of the spectrum than anybody else. AT&T's number 2, and then Skunky's in dead last. They are the least efficient. TomTom says, "Thing bang." I like Google Technology. I like Google Android, but I hate the Google stores. My browser history in 2 to 3 minutes over. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I say they should make 3.4 band 76 just to go to lower confusion. Oh, well, there's actually, let's see, we can do this. NR bands. I can show you the NR bands for the whole world. Yeah, that's actually published here. The whole 5G bands in the world. Okay, let's separate the. Okay, this is separated from N1 to all the way down, but let's do this by frequency. So I can hit this little thing right here, and now we can start at 600 megahertz with band 71. Okay, that's the lowest frequency you got. Then you got 12, 13, 14, 28, and all that. So we're going from 700 megahertz, 800, 850, 900. Now this is the whole world. 1500, 1600, 1700. See, there's band 66 for us right here. There's another band called N86 and other countries that's 1700. See there? And then you got N3, which is 1800. So you got N2, which is 1900. N25, which is the Sprint 1900. And then you got N39, which is 1900 in another country. You got N98, that's a 1900 in another country. So you see how this is? And then you go all the way up here. There's 21. Okay, here's band 30 for T-Mobile. See, 30. That's 2300 megahertz. And then you see we got 2300, 20. See, we got N41 in USA, 2500 megahertz. See there? Look, N90 is also 2500 megahertz. That's in another country. And then look, you got N7, which is 2600, and you have N41 that's actually in other countries too. So there's N41 overseas. There's a couple countries. Saudi Arabia has N41. They use the same exact technology over there for 5G. And then you got 3500 megahertz. See here, N48. That's the CBRS shared low power crap. And then you got N78, which is 3.5 gigahertz. So N78 is pretty much the same thing as N48. It's just it's overseas. And their frequency range is 3300 to 3800. N48 is 3550 to 3700. See there? And then we got N77. Look here. 3700 megahertz. So you look at the band, it goes from 3300 to 4200. So actually, you know, with that range and frequency there, technically you can actually just add in the 3.4, that extra 100 megahertz that's in there from 3.4 to 3.5. You can actually add that on here, and it would be just a different section block. So technically you can say N77 can be the upper part or the lower part. So technically they can actually use that. And then you got N79, which is 4400 megahertz to 5000. See there? And then 5200 is N46. What is that? That's LAA. That is Wi-Fi LTE, unlicensed spectrum. That's what N46 is, which nobody's really using it because it's kind of like pointless to even use. It's kind of pointless. It doesn't have much range. It's very low power. It's shared. Can't interfere with anything else. And then you got N47, which is 5900 megahertz. And what is that? That is 5855 to 5925. That is the Wi-Fi 5.8 gigahertz band. So N47 can be used in other countries as a shared band also. So there's other countries that uses N47 as a very low power indoor for 5G. And then N96 is 6 gigahertz. And see, that's 5925 to 7125. And what is N96, ladies and gentlemen? That's right. That is Wi-Fi 6E. And that's right. Wi-Fi 6E can be deployed 5G on it. And it can be used outdoor or indoor. But it can't interfere with anybody else. So if I have my Wi-Fi 6E router on and I'm using those frequencies, I can't interfere. As a cellular company, can't interfere with it. They can't interfere with it. So if somebody's using it, they can't use it. So that's the bad thing about shared spectrum. It's not all yours. If somebody else is using it, your deployment is no good. If somebody else is using it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can't even turn your transmitter on. So why spend the money on shared spectrum that's not guaranteed? The only exception is N48 or band 48 if you have the PAL license, which means you actually get reserved a priority access to a certain megahertz of band 48. That's the only way the shared is actually worth deploying. Whew, I just said a lot of shit in this 5 minutes, didn't I? All right, there we go. Sorry for babbling. I get on a roll sometimes. All right, RFK, on the Google Home app, does the volume control use dB scale? Google Home app. I don't have the Google Home app. Well, volume is sound, so sound is in dBs as well. So, you know, so when you got like this, when you got your Bluetooth headset on, see, I got my new headset on. Remember I unboxed it yesterday? I got the new headset on. See here? See it? Got the new headset on. Here. Yep, I'm actually using the new Shox headset. This thing is pretty cool. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, you kind of already tell I had it on. Huh? That's what I like about the new one. It's smaller. It's smaller, and you really can't tell you got it on. Now the other one I had is got the big boom mic on it, so you got the boom mic, so you can actually see that a little bit better. So, but when I'm wearing that at work, I don't care if people see that I got a boom mic on there. But yeah, it has good noise canceling. Works really good. The noise canceling is better on the OpenCom, from what I tested. So, all right, so. It's Carlos! Damn, you're still live, bro? Well, it's only 3 hours, so it's my night off. I'm celebrating my 2 nights off in a row. I have 2 nights off. It's amazing. Well, first time I've had 2 days off in a row in probably 9 months, probably something like that, because I've been working my ass off. So, well, that's what happens. Got to make the hundos, man. Got to make the money. Apple's making the best phone simply because they spend the most money. What? There's no Apple magic to it. Their R&D budget are colossal. Well, the one thing I have to say about that is if they're spending so much money on research and development, why does Apple not always launch the latest technology in their phones? And many times they come out with a new phone and they only do very simple little tiny upgrades to the phone, and then they want to charge everybody $1,500 for the damn thing. I think it's crazy. At least with Samsung, with the S22 coming out, there's like 4 or 5 different things, major improvements that they're doing on it. They're severely increasing the camera capabilities. The low light's going to be even better. The space zoom's going to be even better. And then let's see what else. And then the aperture of the cameras are going to be even better. So they tweak them even. It's going to be still the same megapixels, but they just took what they had already, hardware, and they just made it even better. And then you got the AI noise canceling coming out with the Samsung phone. And then you got the aptX HD audio on your 5.2 Bluetooth. Is going to be a game changer when you listen to music on your phone or you're listening to somebody talk on a headset. So with the noise canceling, then the AI, and then the aptX HD near lossless audio, it's going to be amazing. And then see what else we got. Oh, then you got the note feature. You got the pen for the note. You got that coming out. And let's see what else we got. Then we got, I forget what else. Oh, the better charging. Instead of 25 watt charging, they're beefing up to 45 watt charging. All right, I'm almost done recording video and you're still going. You're recording video? Oh, I didn't know. Are you live or are you just doing editing and stuff? Apple phones are expensive and limited on a internal memory. Get an Android with an SD card slot. Well, I've always had bad trouble with SD cards. Every phone that I've had in the past with an SD card in it, it stopped working. And you couldn't access it. You had to restart your phone to get to work. And then like seems like the next day the SD card stops again. I don't like SD cards. External SD cards in phones. It's just I've never had good luck with them. I'd rather have a large storage in the phone itself and then have that. That's what I'd rather have. But to each its own. Most Android phones got rid of the SD card. Yep, that's true. If I'm not mistaken, DSS and DBS bands are owned by 2 satellite TV companies, DirecTV. Oh, you're talking about the frequency bands like over here we're talking about. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep. Okay, let's see. Carlos says actually AT&T uses both band 46 on CRAN. They love that trash. Yeah. Yep, they're using on some small cells to fill in the gap and stuff. Oh yeah, before Caleb left, he said sorry he had to go. He just got so busy he just couldn't participate in the stream anymore. So he says he'll catch you guys next week on the next live stream. Hopefully he's not so busy. And sorry for leaving so quick. So, but hey, work comes first, man. No problem. Sounds like other countries are doing better. Well, there's no sounds like it at all. It's a 100% fact. Other countries have been doing 5G right for several years now. And some of them are now going to standalone. They have like 200 megahertz of bandwidth on standalone. And they got pings under 10. They got speeds over a gig. Just like in Saudi Arabia. They're getting 2.5 gigs down on average. And their pings are between 1 and 5 milliseconds. In Saudi Arabia! With N41 and N78. There you go. That's the 2 bands they're using. Incredible. Good luck getting Dish Network, AT&T, the parent company. Yeah. I haven't seen AT&T use N46. Yep. Okie dokie. So. Alright, so that's it. We went on for 3 hours and 23 minutes. I really want to get me some coffee. I can hear my radio back here. The battery's dead on my radio. It's like beeping at me there, telling me to change the battery. So yeah, I want to get me some coffee, and I think I'm going. The only thing I hate about this camera, I think it's focusing on my mic. Is that what it's doing? That's exactly what it's doing. It's trying to focus on the mic. Yeah, look at that. I'll have to do something different for this in the future. I'm going to move this a little bit different so it can go like more above and like point down. Yeah, I'm going to do something different here. But I got a new computer desk that I just bought. Brand new computer desk. It's really, really nice. It's very huge. It's an L-shaped computer desk. So I'll have to show you a picture of it sometime. But yeah, once I get it all up and done, I'll show you a picture of it. And then once I get my desktop computer build done, then it's got a nice little place to put the computer tower on. And then I can clamp on the monitors. I'm gonna do 4 27-inch HD, 4K HD displays. It's going to be really, really nice. So I'm going to be doing some upgrades here. I'm going to upgrade my computer, get some more hard drive space because I got all this drone footage. I need storage for my drone footage. I had no idea I was going to have many gigabytes of storage I'm going to need. So yeah. So RFK Tech has to upgrade the system here to keep you guys going here with some good content. So the channels are going to only get better. So we'll say good night to everybody. And glad you got to come in here and learn some things about Massive Mimo. And of course, stay tuned for the future for some more good stuff. So we'll do my outro little thingy here, and then we'll do some drone footage of some cell phone towers. So I'll let you guys watch that as we close the stream down. So we'll see you next week, hopefully on Wednesday night again. And you never know, we might do a double live stream next week, maybe. We'll never know what we do. But the content will keep coming. Remember, share the channel, so that we can get to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, I gotta get another cam. I'm gonna get me a 4K cam. I'm probably gonna get me a Hero 10. They're on sale for $350. I think I'll get a Hero 10, stick it up there. I think that'd be good. Even though I'm broadcasting in 1080p, but the 4K picture will just make things look better, even though it's transmitting in 1080. So we'll see what happens. But thanks everybody for tuning in to the show, and we'll see you next week on RFK Tech. Have a great week, stay safe, and enjoy your 5G. Yeah, whether you got fake 5G or real 5G, but enjoy your 5G. Peace out, as they say.